entry to be on a red minute, 3-minute red moon, and a 3-minute red trend, which is here. So let's lower that entry down to the 3 trend and put you at the bottom of this entry here. And now that entry, right, which would go to the bottom of this wick here. So when you enter there, it would be here, that's still 0.58, which basically means you made 58%. What are we going for? We are going for 50%, 30 to 50% anyways on a C trade. So this is a successful C trade here. Now, once this C trade hits and you close out on the 3-minute, because the 3-minute's going back up, right? Because you're using the 3-minute as a guide when you're doing sniping on the C trades. 3-minute climbs all the way back up. And when it climbs all the way back up, it becomes a green moon. And then it goes into a red moon again. And if you're watching this trade properly, right, let's put that in there, that's a C trade. So if you're watching this trade properly, you would have noticed that another C trade just hit with the red moon again right here. And that would have gave you another opportunity to snag another 30% off this trade, right? Because that went for 50, you needed 30%. So there's another C trade right there that you can take advantage of as you start to learn, you know, how to work the coins here. Red moon, right? Or you trade off the 3-minute coming down. See the 3-minute pushes up, starts to come down. Boom, you jump in here. All right, we're going to close that out there, and now let's put this here. So that comes out to be, even if you waited for everything to trigger, worst case scenario, you made 0.39, which is what, 30%. That's another 30% C trade that you just took advantage of. Depending how good you are, it's 30 to 50%, but you know, you'll get better at making more money there. And that's the end of that. Now the next trade, which is what we're looking for, is going to come down to the same scenario. The 3-minute coming to the top, and when this 3-minute starts to break down again, it gives us another opportunity to enter another C trade, right? Which is going to be somewhere in here. We're just going to label it now because it's coming up. And that's going to be our next C trade, somewhere in here once this 3-minute starts to reverse here. And that's going to give us our next trade right here. So here's Bitcoin. There's your C trade. And I'm just going to do a test here on Bitty Boy. Let's see here. All right. I'll come back to Magic later. I got to focus on Bitcoin. So let's go to Bitcoin here. And for a C trade, we do 10% or actually 15% stop loss, and we set 30% gains, right? That's our stop loss, that's our gain. We set it, we confirm it. Not looking for anything special here. Wallet balance started out at 836. Let's see how we do. But that's how you start to learn your C trades, right? 3-minute crossing over. So you're making this next move into this C trade, which is right about here. And we're going to find out where this goes to, and then that'll be our C trade right there. All right, so now that's a C trade, right? And what we're waiting for is this to develop into a B trade, right? So while this is all happening, let's take a look at Bitcoin on the bigger picture, right? What's the bigger picture is, you know, we need a solid B trade, right? What's B trades actually commence, right? A B trade is when the value, or when the 4 crosses, right? We haven't got that yet. The 4 hasn't crossed yet. So the 4-hour RSI hasn't crossed yet. So we're still in a C trade, and our 2 hours crossed and it's below the 90. We look good. And then a lot of times, you know, we want the 1 hour to come down, and then eventually the 1 hour is going to bounce up, and then that next trade is the A trade part, right? So this is still working into a B trade, right? The second part about this is, as we start to build this up, is that volume on the 15 minute has to be, negative or below the 4.5 line, right? So once we go here, we can see that our volume is below our 4 line. It's starting to peel up here. This trade's a little bit risky here because you do have a 15 minute that wants to curl up. So that's the risk that you run when you're trading C trades, is that you're not getting the full push that you want. And this is also why you want to set your stop losses at 15% or even 10, right? I set mine at 15 and you set your profits at 30, right? Because it's okay to lose some of these B trades because we're only doing 25% of our bag. So it's just a quick hit or miss, right? So it's okay to kind of like get in there and deal with that, right? So it's kind of what we're doing here. So they're just C trades. They're not the trades that we really want, but we're working towards, getting the trade that we want, right? All right, so this is the beginning of us getting to a full B trade, right? So what's a full B trade, VC? All right, a full B trade is, the bottom line is, one minute, boys. Let the string. Hold on. Let me just fix this real quick. Okay, so let's focus on our Bitcoin here. All right. So on this particular C trade, right, we're set for 30% profits, 10% stop loss. We're at 6% here. And we're just playing this particular C trade here. And what we're getting ready for is when we get into a full out B trade, right? When is that? The B trade is going to happen when the 4 hour actually crosses over. And then that's the trade that we're looking for. So right now we're just working over these C trades, guys. Gucci Crip, what chart do you recommend? Gucci, I use TradingView, bro. TradingView, bro. I use TradingView.
Red Moon just printed on Magic.
Yes, yes, Red Moon on Magic. TradingView, guys. We use TradingView for our charts, and then we trade on MEXC, boys. So the indicators I recommend, bro, they're called VC Crypto Nation, bro. So if you go to invite only, you can see right here that we have VC Crypto Nation. All right, so if you want to find out how to get VC Crypto Nation indicators, send me a Gmail. Send me a Gmail, bro, to vccryptonation@gmail.com. Let me get you guys all squared away. Let's take a look at this Bitcoin. Did we hit our Bitcoin? Ooh, what did Magic do? I haven't even, hold on, let me look at Magic. So Magic, yeah, we're shorting Magic. We're up 10%, but I'm focusing on Bitcoin here, right? So we're just kind of running this Bitcoin out. Let's see how we do on this C trade, right? Waiting on the C trade, boys. So let's, Magic short is happening. That's a little better than the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is a C trade, right? So we're not, now remember guys, on Bitcoin, we're only doing our small C trade bag. 25% of our normal trade, okay guys? Remember, we're doing C trades. These are trades that you practice entries on. So you only do 25% of your original bag. For whatever your trading bag is, bro. How we doing? All right, so blockchain C, we're always using 100%, bro. Blockchain, hey, thanks for the gift, bro. Blockchain becomes a big gifter. Guys, we're always using 100%, guys. We're always 100% leverage. All right, 100% leverage, guys. All right. So we got a short on Magic right now. We're up 15%. Looking real good. All right.
VC, do you think this is a 30 or 50%?
On which one? Which one?
Magic.
So take a look at it, right? And so you need to evaluate what makes is it a B trade or a C trade, right? So let's dig in, right? So the first thing is the 2 hour. Oh, that's Matic. I don't mean Matic. All right, let's go here, leave that. All right, so Magic. All right, so take a look at is the 4 hour crossed? So the 4 hour hasn't crossed yet. See what I'm saying? So this is more of a C trade, right? This is a C trade right here. This is a quick 30%, right? So let me get in here. Let me click on this. All right, I'm probably even going to take 25% or something like that. Let's take a peek here. I would definitely set this here. I'm going to set this for 30% on Magic. I'm going to set my stop loss at 1% now because we're up. I'm going to let that go. So I'm going to take 30 on this, which we're about to hit right now. 29, here we go. Come on, Magic. So we're going to take a quick $60 on here. Move my stop loss up here and 53.80. I'm going to move my stop loss to 53.80, which is 19%. So no matter what happens, I'm taking my 20%. And I'm about to hit my 30% profits right now. So there we go. So no matter what, I'm taking 20, but I have everything set for 30. Be right back. There we go. Let's go. 65 bucks. 3 of those an hour. I'm an electrician. Oh my god, baby, I just shit out hustle. It was fantastic. Ah, where we at, boys? All right, so we hit our magic trade, which is great. And now we're just closing out this Bitcoin trade here. Like I said, boys, it's a C trade, right? So, oh my God, let's go. It's a C trade. Hey, you can see right here. You guys see in magic? You see the look at the 5 minutes. See how it's rejecting on the 5 minute? All right, it's going to keep doing that until the 4 hour starts to come down, right? That's why this is a C trade and not a B trade. You guys understand what I'm saying? You hear me in Discord?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So because the 4 hour isn't coming down or crossed over, it's still a C trade. So Bitcoin and Magic are kind of in the same scenario, except the difference is Bitcoin's 4 hours actually like coming down, right? We just need it to cross. Now once Bitcoin crosses, then we're going to become in a situation where we're actually trading B trades, right? And B trades are going to be in effect until the 1 hour volume crosses the 5 line, right? So we're in C trades right now. So we're trading 25% of our bag. And what we're doing is we're just building up small wins and just kind of like getting us into a position of trading here. All right. That's kind of what we're doing here. I mean, sometimes while we're in one of these C trades, it'll eventually might become a B trade while we're there, and then we would just add to our position, which might be happening right here. That might be happening right now on Bitcoin. If this 4 hour can cross here and we get a 4 hour moon, then that would become a B trade. And then with the B trade, we would want the 15 minute to start back down. You can see how, look at your 15 minute, right? You see your 15 minute? It's starting to slowly grow here. Eventually it's going to get to an end and start to come down. And that should be the start of our B trade, right? And that's where we would actually add to our position or re-enter in case we don't get what we want out of this C trade, right? So that's the next entry for us on this B trade, is when the 15 minutes starts to head back down. And that's going to be when the 4 hour crosses, right? That's kind of where we're at here. We're in the middle of that moment right there. You can kind of see what's happening on our last C trade here. We're kind of stuck here in this little sideways trade. So we got 124 of our $1,000 in there. So we got 10% of our trade, right? The more money you make, you create B trades. You start keeping it around 100. So when you get to 1,000, just keep your B trade bag around 100, 120, and then the bigger trades you trade about 500 to 700 to 1,000. But these are C trade, guys. And remember, the key to this is the next level of these trades are going to be a very simple factor. The 4 hour has to cross down. That will bring it to the next level of trades, which is considered the B trade, right? Which is a higher percentage trader than a C, and it'll give better percents of wins from 30 to 50%. And this is where you continue to grind this out, and you want to add profits to your bag until you get to an A trade, which will then allow you to make 100% profits, and you increase your bag because you are making a better trade at a better time. So you can increase your bag from your $100 to 500 or even higher. And then you make a really good trade and you take advantage of the better opportunity for yourself, and you take 500 and you hit it for 50, that's 250, or 100% gains, which is another 500. Now, if you constantly do this every day or 3 times a week, right, you will be making your average of 15 to 2,000 bucks a week, and that will help you grind up to your 100K a year. So this is the very first part of getting a trade over to what we consider a B trade. And don't forget, guys, if you have any questions or want to join the academy, if you want information on the academy and so forth, send a email to VC Crypto Nation. The name of the channel, VC Crypto Nation at Gmail. VC Crypto Nation at Gmail, guys, and I will answer your emails, and we'll go from there. Oh. Well, looky here, boys. Looky here. All right, so we got our 20% here. We're falling nicely. I'm gonna move my stop loss here, because we're in position here. We hit our 20%. This is where you want to move your stop loss and put yourself in a position here. So we're 320. All right, so let's go ahead and put 322, which is 22% profits. We confirm that. Bada boom, bada bing. And we're taking profits at 30. So let's see if we can tag this trade for 30. Looking pretty good here, boys. Remember, guys, these are C trades. So, you know, we're making sure we're locking in profits at 20%. Hey, thanks for the follow, Mo. We're locking in profits at 20%, and we're hitting them for 30. We're about to get our 30% on this C trade, or at least 20. Doesn't really matter. There we go. So we wicked out. We took 20%, which is okay. You know, it's a winning trade. But more importantly, it's allowing us to grow our bag, and we're building. Remember, we started trading here. We had $830 in the wallet, and now we have $916. Right, and I'll show you there. So we started the bag out at $830, and now we're at $916. Right, so it's about, you know, an extra $100 there. But what that's going to do is we're going to take that extra $100 and we're going to compound that $100 when we make our next trades, and we're going to get 100% out of that. So we'll get another $100 out of that, maybe even 200, but we're going to compound that out. So that's the beginning of our C trades. There's another successful C trade, right? So let's slide over here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let the 15-minute come back up and, you know, find some rhythm here. And eventually we're going to get to where we start making B trades, right? So now that that C trade is over, no, actually this C trade has a long way to go here. Oh, this might dump. Ugh. So when you get to the point where you start to see a C trade become a little more valuable, right, is this moment here. This is where this C trade is literally becoming a B trade, right? We're starting to see the moons come in. All right, if I was watching this and I seen the moon come in, I would have changed my profits to about 50% instead of 30, because this should have a nice little drop here. But we're going to let this play out. It's going to bounce back up on the 5-minute. All right, so let's go ahead and put a line here. I want to kind of show you guys how this works. So this would be my continuation. That's where I took my first profits. We're going to play this out, let it bounce and do what the 5-minute does. And then when it bounces or get wherever its next level is, we're going to start seeing where we are now entering B trades, okay? And B trades are going to be where we start seeing bigger dips, right? So that's what we're going to be looking for, is B trades, right? Which are going to come after this. Now, guys, this is actually a nice little trade here. If it breaks this 5-minute, it's going to have a big dump here, right? So what we want to do here is take a look at the 3-minute and see where it's going. The 3-minute needs to bounce, and the 1-minute needs to bounce. So here, I'm going to let the 1-minute bounce up, and I'm going to see where the 3-minute goes, and then I'm going to re-enter. Right, I'm going to re-enter on an additional trade. Right, so I'm going to put that there, and this is where we're going to watch. That was my original exit. This thing wants to pay a little more, but look how beautiful. Oof! But now it's going to start bouncing up. So here's that 1-minute, right? So let this 1-minute bounce up. Whenever this 1-minute finishes, this is where we're going to start seeing the opportunity of B trades come in, right? This is where everything is getting weaker. We are about to cross on the 4-hour. Look at that. Beautiful, baby. Mwah, mwah. This is beautiful. Mwah. And now that it's getting a lot nicer, we're going to have a couple B trades, right? So the first B trade is going to be this one, taking advantage of the 1-hour down. The 1 hour is going to bounce up, and then when it starts to come down again, that's going to be our second B trade, right? And it's more profitable, right? So we have a couple trades coming up here, guys. Right now, we're going to let the 5-minute play out, the 3-minute play out. You know, get a little space here on the 3-minute. Let it bounce and gather itself, and then we're going to get into a particular trade here. So this is going to be the B trade. We're going to let it bounce up, and then Once it's done bouncing, that's going to be the 3 minute to the top. When the 3 minute bounces and comes up, that's going to be our next entry, and that's going to start our B trades, guys. So I'll be back in a minute here, and we'll get ourselves set up. You see that, Boogie? You see that, baby? C trades to B trades. Da-na-na-na-na. So now we're going to start in, don't forget we have our B bags, right? So we just started C trades. Now we're going to still use our 25% of our trading bags, right? But now we're going to use B trades to increase the 25% bags, right? So that we can build up. Because the ideal is to get to the best possible B trade and A trade so that we can make the best profit. Yo, babe, we need to go. Hey, babe, can you order some water? La da 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 da. Yes, sir. All right, here we go. 3 minutes bouncing, boys. Let's go. Just like the doctor wrote. Discord made money today.
BC, I got a off question about the bounce backs you had mentioned today in the Discord, but when would you play the long after one of these drops? Like, what would be a great indicator if you're sitting here and you want to get into the more volume trades? When would be a great time to know to go back the other way with the long?
Well, the long for me is really, it's all about volume, right? So right now, when you're in a C trade and you're playing the 15 minute to the bottom and the 15 minute goes up, right? Those are opportunities for what we call C trades for the possible longs, right? And then we can take a look here and just kind of look at Bitcoin, right? So for instance, you had all these trades happening today. Let me scan out a little bit here. All right, where's the 4 hour? All right. So here's the beginning of the 4 hour cross, right? This is kind of where the 4 hours happening right here. This is the 2 and the 1 hour. So then you go back to the 15, right? So now when you're seeing these things play out, right? So now what's happening here is that your trend is starting to change, right? So what I would be waiting for is, like, if you're going to play any bounces or anything that could be big, after you get that first C trade in, you would be trading off the 15 minute right here, right? So you see how this 15 minute starts to bend up right here? Right, so you see, look at the 15 minute on Bitcoin, right? You can see when it started to come down. Am I sharing my screen? That might be too much for my PC right now. But, okay, so you look at Bitcoin, right? Take a look at the first big dump, right? And then look at the 15 minutes.
Yeah, you sharing your screen, just the volume is just cutting out, so we listening on TikTok.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so you see how the 15 minute, the first dump came and the 15 minute was on the bottom, right? When that 15 minute bent up and started to get over the 20 right here, right? That's where this would be the bounce that you would be looking. So when it first came down, anytime it hit these big peaks, you would be looking to buy into here, right? So peak, the 15 minutes starts to come up here, right? You'd be looking to get into these longs, but they're very volatile. You know what I mean? Like they're in the middle of a battle, right? So if you're catching any of these longs down here, those are good trades. And then if you're catching this last wick here, and then you can see where the 15 minute break starts to break above the 20 right here. Like that's the candle that would give you an opportunity for a trade, right? But it's not, it's a 30% trade, right? Remember that, you know, you're working in the middle of a transition here. So I don't normally take the longs on the bounces here, right? So the longs that I would be waiting for are going to be the ones on the full reversal, right? That's going to be when the 2 hour and the 1 hour are going up with the 30-minute or the 15. And we'll kind of like play those out. And I'll do the video on these of tracking the reversal. So I'm gonna do this Bitcoin trade all the way through. And that way you guys can see when the reversal comes.
I look forward to studying this video.
Yeah, this is, I mean, like, so that's, you know, long, right now we're watching this little bounce here, right? So here's your 5 minutes. See how it fought to come down, now it's fighting back up. So this is going to get us to where we want to be, and this is where the B trade starts to happen, right? Because we're going to get the 4 hour about to cross. So this is the beginning of our B trade, right? This is where we want to see the 5 minute push up, and then when the 5 minute starts to break down, that's going to be where we take another trade. And we're going to use the 3 minute as a guide for that, right? So now what we're going to do is, now that the volume is starting to, you know, break down here, let's go to our 1 hour. And you can see here that we're getting close to our A trade section, right? We're still in the B trades, but we're declining nicely here, right? So 15-minute volume is negative, which is great. It's on the floor, right? It's hard to pull up a 15-minute when it's on the floor, when it's starting to go negative. But we're looking at all the volume controls here. We can see on the 30 it's starting to go flat, right? So it wants to find a bounce, right? So we have to watch that because it wants to, see how the 15-minute is curling up there? So that's good for us. It wants to find a bounce, and then when that starts to curl back down, that's going to be our entry, right? And we're going to use the 5 minute as a guide to the 15-minute volume coming back down, and that's going to be when the 15-minute red moon comes back, right? Because right now we're sitting on like a 5 minute, you know, red moon, red trend. The re-entry to this would be a moon reset, right? Like a 5 minute red moon, red trend, it goes green, and then when the 5 minute red moon comes back, that's going to be where we re-enter into this short. But this should be a B trade at that time. I'm going to put an alert here on the 5 minute crossover. And that's what I want. 5 minute moon reset. This is going to be our B trade here. So whenever there's 5 minute, now we're going to use the 3 minute here as kind of like a guide. So as soon as we get a 3 minute red moon, that's going to let us know what's coming up, and that's going to be our trade. So we're going to watch the 3 minute here, and then as soon as we get a 3 minute red moon, as long as we have our same motion, that's going to start our B trade. All right, so let me know, man. Let me know when we get a 3 minute red moon on Bitcoin, all right? Shout it out. Yes, sir.
Not a problem.
Thank you, brother. Oh. Ah. Ah. Eat up here when you do it, bro. You keep jumping off the bed. It hurts yourself. How we looking? How we looking, boys? All right, where's our 3 minute? All right, we got a 3 minute at the top. Nice. All right. We got a 3 minute green trend. Nice. All right, so this is that final push before we get into a B trade. See that 15 minute? Take a look at your 15. You see how that's still pushing up? That's a good sign for a bounce here, right? So this is going to come down to finding our 15 minute pullback. And that's going to start the B trade. You can tell here on the 5 minute volume, it's still pushing up.
VC,
Yeah.
I got a question there. Once all this starts, then I've mapped them out before, and is it typically that you're going to be trading on the 15-minute moons then at that point, the 15-minute red moons?
Well, I want to trade the 15 minute RSI, the value, right? So the earlier move here, right, is you want the 15 minute move, so you go down to the lower time frame of the 5 minute, right? So what we really want here is a 5 minute moon, right? So we have a red moon, a green moon, a red trend, a 5 minute green moon. We want a 5 minute red moon here. That's going to be our entry there. When that starts to come down there. It kind of gives us an ideal of what's coming up in the next, so every time frame is like having a vision into a ×3. So a 5 minute means you're really kind of seeing a vision into the next 5, 10, 15 minute type scenario. You know what I mean? So when a 5 minute, gets a red moon, that kind of lets you know that in the next 10 minutes, you should see the 15 minute getting affected by that. Okay? So here, since we want to get into the 15 minute trade, right, we want the 5 minute to guide us on what's coming, right? And then if you want to know what's coming to the 5 minute, you just go to the 3 minute, right? So that you kind of see what's popping. So here we can see the 3 minutes about to cross, but the volume hasn't given up yet. It's still going sideways. So right there, it's letting us know that there's some strength here, right? It's not like it's pulling sharp down. We don't even have a 3 minute red moon yet, right? So before we can even think of shorting this, we need to start seeing this 3 minute get to that red moon, and then we'll start looking for the entries to get the continuation onto the 15 minute. But you can look at the 3 minute and see how it's starting to affect the growth of it, right? So you can see where it's still slowly pushing up here, but notice how the candles are, kind of like getting smaller. You see what I'm saying? So they're going to create a burst here at some point. They got to have some type of pop or a jump, which is good for us. The higher it goes, the better. Means the B trade will create. This is creating a position for the profits of the B trade, right? That's basically all that's happening is they're buying into these coins, and what they're doing is they're making everybody, people who don't know how to trade, they're making everyone think right now that this trade is about to recover. And then you have bad traders that have seen this go down, go down, go down, and then they're like, oh, okay, Bitcoin has hit a support line, right? So support, support, support. All right, so this is support area right here. So hit the first support, hit the second support, came down to a third support, and now they're basically making it look like there's going to be some type of push here, which there will be. But more than likely, it's going to turn and get reject off this 3-minute 200 moving average, about 27,469. So if I had to look at a target right now, my target would be a B trade that starts off of the 3-minute 200 moving average. So I would be looking for entries up in this area here, right? This is just as, just a generic target for myself. In reality, I can't do anything until there's a 3-minute red moon. So that lets me know that the volume has changed. So currently, we're just sitting in this trade. And while we're sitting here, like we'll rotate in, and then I'm gonna cut this off here, and we'll go into a second part of this video after that, when it actually, happens. Or actually, no, we'll let it run, and then they can just fast forward.
Well, even the 1 minute at which I peek at from time to time, it's nailed against the roof flat line, and it's looking like it's weakening on the 1 minute as well, but it's still all green.
Yeah. It's gonna push up. It's gonna fight. The higher, the better. But the bottom line is it's not a B trade until the 4-hour crosses, right? Which still hasn't happened. Now that's going to happen when we see that 3-minute red moon come. Then this will pop. It'll be touching, ready to cross, and this is the beginning of like finding our move. All right, look at our 15 minutes. See our 15 minute? Now that the 15 minutes pushing up, that means that it's probably going to make a nice bigger push. So it looks like Bitcoin's going to push here. So now the trade that we would follow is when the 15-minute breaks down. See what I'm saying? 15-minute needs to come down, which are basically the same scenario. 3-minute red moon, 5-minute red moon, and then that's where we want to look for. So we're still in the same boat, but we're seeing that the 15-minute is bouncing up. And as soon as that cracks down, still the same thing, the volume starts to come down. That's where we would be, more inclined to start looking for our trade here. But right now it's just patience, right? No matter what, I can't do anything unless I have a 3-minute red moon. That's the first thing. And then 5-minute red moon to set me up for my 15-minute trade. So right now we're trading off of the 15-minute. And then as this B trade becomes an A trade, we'll eventually start trading off the 5-minute because the volume's weaker. So the 15-minute won't move as much as the volume gets weaker. So right now, we got time. So we have the 15-minute to work off of. So that's what we're going to use. So, but no matter what, we're still at, we need to wait for this 3-minute. No, I haven't. Alejandro, I haven't traded Sue, bro. I haven't looked at Sue since. That's funny that you bring that up. All right, guys. So let me know when there's a 3-minute red moon. No, I haven't traded Sue since, bro. I haven't even looked at it, bro. But we're starting to see on that see that volume starting to bend on that 3-minute. See how the candles are starting to get weak. So now with that, we just need the 15-minute to look at the 5-minute too. Oh, this looks good. So now we just need this 5-minute to start bending on the volume, right? Which we might be seeing here soon. So expect this to keep pushing up with the 15 minutes pushing up here. So our trade is really going to come down to when the 5 minute has a red moon. That'll be a signal for us. So let me know when there's a 3 minute red moon, because that's going to start the reverse move. Like dominoes.
Not a problem.
Oh. Newski. So Newski, we're waiting on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's next entry is going to be when we get some 5 minute red moons, right? So when you see this happen, we'll let you know. So that's what we're waiting on. And that's going to start off when we start seeing some weakness in the 3 minute, which I think we're starting to see here. So get a 3 minute red moon. That'll give us an idea of what we are looking at. Right now we're in consolidation at this level here.
All that green on the 3 minute sure does look tempting.
Yeah. But you remember we're transitioning into a B trade, right? So this is just the first B trade. Remember, there's always 2 or 3 of them. So the first one is nicer because it does dump a little bit quicker, because what I'm saying, it's like it's the beginning of the selling pressure, right? So sometimes you get a nice jump. So I mean, you're not in a bad spot here. Let's say you take this as the last C trade of the day, right? So you would basically go to your 1 minute, right? And what you would do here is that you would look for a 1 minute red moon, right? Which is kind of what you're getting here. You see that? So if you can get this kind of hitting a 1 minute red moon, that would be considered something that you would be like your last C trade of the day, right? So I mean, I'm sure you can snag some percentages here. I wouldn't be surprised, right? So, but remember, C trades are very like short-ended. So let's say you want to practice this one, right? So I'm going to do a practice trade here, right? I'm going to treat it like a C trade. Do 10% or whatever. I'm going to open up a short. I'm using, what am I using? $90 of the 1,000, right? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set a stop loss of 15%. I'm going to set a profit of 30, and I'm going to take this trade here, right? So this is where I'm talking about where you're feeling like you want to take the trade. So take the trade. Take yourself a C trade, right? Remember, 10% of your bag, right? $10 out of the 40 or $20 out of the 100, and take a short or profit, right? Stop loss at 15% and profit at 30, right? And this will allow you to see the trades happening, right? And then it'll kind of like feed the need that you have the trade, right? And also teach you to be a little more patient as you move along. But there you go. So here we are taking this right here, and what we're going to work off of is the 1 hour red moon. But see how the 1 hour got rejected there? The 1 minute, see how the 1 minute moon got rejected? Now if that 1 minute moon hits, then we have a good trade. But since it didn't hit, you're jumping the gun there, you put yourself at risk, right? So what we'd want to see here is minimum a 1 minute red moon, which we didn't get. So now a lot of guys will jump that trade, and this is what you guys would be looking at, right? You'd be looking at 5% going against you, Now I'm not too concerned because it's only 10% of the bag. I got a 15% stop loss. You know, we tried to jump the trade, didn't work out in our favor. It's jumping right now. I'm at 11% negative, you know, but we can see if we survive it. It's a 15% stop loss, so you never know. But since we're getting towards a B trade, the risk of it jumping on me is a little bit less than the beginning of a C trade because the volume is more in my favor. You see what I'm saying? So when you're taking these risks, taking them closer to the B trade is a lot safer because the volume is going to protect you a little bit more. But I'm still closing 15% stop loss. You see what I'm saying? And now I'm in that trade, and you can see around the 1 minute, we rejected the 1 minute red moon. It jumped on me, bad position, but I'm in not a bad position because I didn't put that much money in, so I'm not too concerned. But what this is going to tell me right now is that right now, this last pump here, at this last 1 minute push, is probably the beginning of the last of the push, right? So here we go. Here's the last push really happening. We don't have a 3 minute red moon here, right? So stay focused on that 3 minute red moon. Now, I do have $100 or 10% of my trade in there, right? Alejandro, VC, what do you think about XRP? I lost faith in it. Don't lose faith, bro. It's the best coin. It's the most. Here's what I'll say about XRP. This XRP is the best utility coin on the market. Okay, it does everything, super efficient. There's nothing better. Most of Europe uses XRP or XLM already, right? So don't lose faith in it because it's going to it's eventually going to go where it wants to go. But what I do, like, I don't know why you guys don't listen to what I tell you, that you have to trade every pump, right? When it got to 93 cents, you had to sell it, man. I told everybody that. And when it comes back down, you buy more. It's called accumulation, guys. No matter what you do in crypto, guys, accumulation is the biggest thing that makes money, right? What's accumulation? Accumulation is if I put $100 into a coin and the coin goes up 30%, right? Or 10% or 15%, and it has a pump, right? Because every coin pumps. And then I sell it, right? I sell it 15%, 20%, and then I wait for it to go down 5, 10% or whatever, 10%, and then I buy it back, right? So essentially what I did is if I sold at 15 and I let it come back down 10 and I bought, right? Or let's use small numbers. Like let's use small numbers here where you guys can understand, like, everything counts, right? So let's say that the coin goes up 5% and you sell, right? And then now this is called spot trading. It's nothing special. It's just normal hodling or whatever. It goes up 5%, you sell. And eventually, you know, it goes up another 5%. And you're like mad that you sold early. But it doesn't even matter. So the coin then comes back down, you know, settles down comes down 5% or whatever. And then you buy back in, right? But now you're buying 105% of what you have, right? So you get 105% of what you have. And you get more coins for your money. And then it goes up another 10% and you sell. And it comes down 5% and you buy in. It's essentially giving you 15%. Now you can do this every week, at least twice, you know, let's just say one time a week, right? So if you do this one time a week, that's 10% gains a week, right? Which means you're making 40% profit on your coin every month if you're buying and selling the pumps and dumps. So at the end of a year, you made 410%. We'll just say 400. We'll just say 400%. So you made 400% in a year. So if you started with $100, right? You now have $400 of XRP coin for the cost of 100, right? So yeah. So every time you sell a taxable event, taxes. I mean, let's just be honest here. So everyone who's worried about taxes, I mean, you guys have to like start realizing something, right? Is yeah. I mean, first of all, you got to remember when you vote for people, you might want to vote for the right people, right? That's the first thing, right? So if you vote, donkey, it's probably not going to be the greatest thing for you. But let's just say taxes come in, right? And at the end of the day, if you make $30,000 and you have to pay 30%, you know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, okay, I got to pay $3,000, whatever. And I don't think it's that big of a deal if you're paying 30% of what you're making, right? Because if you have, let's say you have $100 and XRP goes up 20%, or let's say you have $100, and yeah. We're not talking about eliminate taxes, bro, but we're talking about making sense. So you can't tell me if you can't look at the old man's administration, Joe Diddley over there, and tell me that he's not coming after crypto. He's raised taxes on crypto every single time, bro. Other people wouldn't have done that. So yeah, it doesn't matter who you vote for, bro. And so let's say that you have XRP and you have $100, right? And it goes up 100%, right? At the end of the year, you have $200, right? Now, you haven't sold yet, but you have $200. And then the next year it goes up 100%, right? So 2 years it goes up another 100%. Let's say 200%. So now your 200 is worth $600, right? So you made $600 in the matter of 3 years, right? $600, 3 years. You sell, and out of that $600, you're paying your 30%, right? So you pay your, whatever, 30% on that was that $30 times 6, so was that 180 or something like that? So whatever. So you pay your money on there. So you pay your 1/3. So your $600 is $400, right? So 180. So let's take out your 180, right? We'll just call it 180. So that's your 600. So at the end of the day, you've taken in $420, right? $420 comes in, and you're like, man, I made some money. All right, now let's do it the other way. So you let it go up 5%, you sell, it goes down 5%, you rebuy, on average. So that way you're getting 5% more tokens every time you sell. And let's say at the end of it, you made 400% your first year. So your 100 is now 400. And then you move across, right? You do it again, right? It's all the same profits, right? Taking 30% out of there. So 30% out of the 400 is what? 30, 60, 90, 120, right? So that means take 120 out your 400. That means you got 280, right? So do that 280, and now you do the same thing, except this time you're compounding on top of your 380 or 280, which is almost 3 times what you started with. So profits are going up 280. The next year you're making 460, and the final year you end up making 890. So at the end of the day, you walk away with 6, 8, 14, so about $1,800 after you pay taxes. So what would you rather have? $380 or $1,600? What's better? I don't know about you, but I'll take the $1,600. All right, so see here, guys, here our C trade we lost on this trade here, 15%. It's all right. I mean, we lost $30, but this is where this is why being patient is more important than jumping a trade, right? It's hard to win trades when you guess at a trade, right? So what we want to do here is, no matter what, we need a 3-minute. The second thing is the rule, right? And we all know the rule. The rule is don't trade against the 15, right, Boogie? So right now, we just gotta let this bounce. Now when this 15-minute finish bounces and comes down, that's where we wanna be. Yeah, you owe taxes on anything over the initial payment. Yeah. But you gotta understand, like I'll take $1,600 over $300 any day. After taxes. So don't let taxes stop you from making $1 million. Yo, VC, I made $1 million and I had to pay $500,000 in taxes. Oh shit, that's terrible. Like, come on, man. So, as you can see, those end of the C trades, right? Like if you lose a trade like that, now you know that you're at the end of the C trade and you need to wait for the B trade, right? What's the B trade? The B trade is going to be when the 15-minute starts to bend down. Hey, blockchain taxes are a ripoff. For sure, bro, for sure. No one's going to argue that point. I think we can all, I don't care who you voted for. I think we both agree on that. That's just, you know, the people. Like we definitely need an entire new system, bro. For sure, bro. For sure. Well, you can always, if you guys really want to be ballers, you can do what, you know, things that I do, like give up your citizenship, move out to other countries, and be tax-free, right? You're allowed to be in the U.S. 6 months a year, get a visa, you can come back for 3 to 4 months, 6 months. Yeah, there's different tax breaks, bro. You can do a lot, bro. You can do a lot, bro. Go on YouTube, man. There's like a shitload of guys that are mastering crypto taxes and what you can do and do a trust fund. And if you really don't want to pay taxes, guys, right? What you want to do is start a company, all right, do a trust, have the company trade, and profits go to the trust, and then the trust is tax-free, and then the trust pays you, and then you don't have to pay any taxes. I mean, if you want to avoid, if you want to avoid taxes, right, use the system that you have out there, and you know, just follow the system, right? Don't be stupid and not pay taxes. Just go out there and find ways to, you know, the loopholes that exist for everybody. You know, do a little research.
Yo, what's good?
Yo, who that, Boogie? Who that, bro?
Yeah, today was a fun one, no?
Yeah, man, right? Dude, these guys, Shane is fucking crushing it, dude.
Yeah, Shan's a quick learner, man. I'm happy to have him part of the team for sure.
That he is. He's never traded in his life. Like he literally. So a little bit about Shane. He calls me up way back in October of last year or something like that. Something crazy. October or September. I don't know. It was early in the year, like September. He's like, "Yo, VC, I just sent you 5,000 in Bitcoin," and I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Nah, I don't take Bitcoin, bro." And he goes, "Yeah, it was on WhatsApp," and I was like, "Oh, bro, you got scammed. I don't use WhatsApp." He's like, "What?" Right? He sent XRP. He did XRP, and I was like, "Yeah, bro." So, you know, he tracked it down, and he was talking to the guy, and the guy was like, asking him these questions, and the guy was like, you know, I was like, "Tell him to go live and talk to you," but he wouldn't go live. So he's like, "Damn it!" So he ends up getting scammed. So I'm like, "Yo, bro, join the Discord. Don't worry about it. You know, the guys in there are really good, and we got a lot of things that we talk about. But if you take your time, you can make that back, and you know, we want to help you out." So I put him in there, and then he comes in November, and he goes through the system, right? So I give him the system. I give it to him for free, and I'm like, "Here, man, just join the academy." You know, that's messed up. You know, it's tough to take that type of loss, right? So he comes in November, and he downloads the system, and that's kind of like the first round of the system. And then he goes, and about December, he's like, "All right, I got the system downloaded," and then he like disappears, right? And then out of nowhere, in July, like literally this last 8 weeks ago, he like pops up, and he's like, hold on. And he pops up in July, and he's like, "Yo, VC, I had a lot of shit going on, man, but I'm back." I'm like, "Yeah, bro." I said, "Listen, you know, here you go. Here's the new system, the one we just finished, right?" I was like, "Go learn this shit." He's like, "Cool." Hops in, and then 4 weeks later, I give him the volume is king, right? And he goes from making 30% a trade to like just 300 to 400. He's never traded, never used trading views, never done anything. And he came back. He ended up being out of work. He's like, "Yo, I gotta pay my bills." So he started trading in July, and he's crushing it. I'm happy
Yeah, the
for him.
volume vids, I don't know, man. They really have taken a turn for the whole crew. I don't know if you know. I mean, obviously there's different kinds of shorts, and some of the new guys need to understand that some are pullbacks, some are shorts, and some are actual reversals, which is what we're looking for the A's and the B's, right?
Yeah.
But like some of the guys just like they get it, and you know what I mean. They see volume coming down, and it's like boom.
Yeah,
Like, I can't wait for the bull market, man. The
Boogie.
family's gonna make money.
Dude,
Boogie, I
bull
want to
market.
say something. Whatever VC said is 100% correct, but the thing was that he didn't tell you. When I called VC, I thought he was the real scammer, not the other guy.
Oh, you thought I was this guy?
Yeah.
You know, but I was like, what the hell's going on? Which one is real, right? But I noticed that the scammer guy had VC's video playing in his thing. And I noticed that VC put in his number for his Mexi when he was setting up the platform. He put his number there. And I copied the number down and I called him. And then I met VC at that time. And I asked him, "Are you the real guy?" And he goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Are you messaging me on WhatsApp?" He goes, "No, I don't do that." Okay. But yeah, I did disappear because, you know, VC, I'll be honest with you, in December, I did have a lot going on, but at the same time, I could not really understand. All these guys were posting big numbers back then, and I tried to understand the video and stuff. I'm like, fuck, I'm just too dumb for this shit. I'm too old, too dumb. I can't handle it. And by the way, if you guys don't know, I'm 54, so I'm old, you know. I'm not a 12-year-old to 19-year-old kid. So I thought, man, this is for young kids. I can't handle this crypto shit. And then I decided, because that's what I'm gonna do, and this is how I'm gonna make a living. So I decided in July, if all these guys are making it work, you know, I can too, you know. So I started working with it, and you know, it's been blessing. Today I hit 2,200% profit, just sharing that with everyone. So imagine if I had like $10, do that in 2,200, whatever that is. Not good at maths. But thanks for the videos, thanks for the community, thanks for everyone that's in here, very, very helpful. That's how you learn, because, yeah, VC teaches his videos, his system and everything, but, you know, we can't nag him 24/7, you know. Although I have his number, I do nag him once in a while. But, we, you know, we all can't do that. I'm sorry, VC. if I
You're
text
good, bro,
you
you're
all
good.
the time. But, you know, we got all these guys, and Jimmy, Bookie, they've been here for a while. And they understand everything, so they're very helpful, and I've seen them that they jump on the community and they help everyone out. So it's an amazing, amazing community. And I've been in sales and different networking events and different communities for my whole life. But the guys on here are totally, totally genuine. Well, one more thing. So the reason I left in December is because I was, you know, someone tried to scam me on Telegram. And then I came on a Discord and I see these guys posting 50%, 40%, 100%, like every hour these posts would come on. And I thought these are either bots or these are VC guys, you know, VC pays them money and said, post his numbers. So, you know, we attract, you know, we come on. I really did not believe it until July when I started working with it and I made my first trade. So, yeah, it's all legit, guys. And VC, thank you so much. Really appreciate it, and everyone else. Okay, I'm gonna stop now.
Yeah, we're happy for you, bro. I mean, that's kind of what, like, the whole fucking thing is based on trying to create something that anybody can do. And then the community, it builds a community where so many people looking at coins that it just takes away the burden of what to find, right? And then you got a support system, right? It's like going to the gym, right? You got to have those guys like, yo, why you eating that, bro? Get a protein shake, right? Like constantly just keeping you focused, right? And, that's kind of like the full blessing of it all, is like the real, guys like Boogie who are been around for a while and, really like, sat there and really like, believed in everything that was happening in himself, and but more importantly held himself accountable, right? When things didn't go right, realizing I'm not doing what he's telling the video to do, right? So it's like when guys hold themselves accountable, then we get results. Then those guys are able to help new guys because it's average people learning just how to do something, teaching the next guy what they just learned. So the connection and the ability to relate is faster. Like we had a learning curve where Boogie was in this since February, and even sooner than that. But we kind of changed up the system back in February, and then we made some adjustments. But the learning curve was about 8 months, and then got it down to 4, and now you're the next learning curve. You're at 6 weeks. It's very nice to like grow that, because now we're gonna have more people hitting trades, more people teaching, and it's just gonna get easier and easier. And then that's when you're gonna see some shit happen. And then like Boogie says, wait until the bull run, right? We just need a baby bull run. Like you guys, you have no idea how much you're gonna make when you get to this bull run. You're gonna take in. I mean, I'm not shitting you. Like it's gonna be crazy. Like the last time I was trading in a Boogie knows. Boogie's been following me for a long time, but last time we were trading in a bull run, man, we used to trade all day, and there'd be guys making $30,000-$40,000 a trade, buying cars the next day. It was kind of crazy. And so that's what we're looking for, is like, learning how to make this a career, but then when the next move comes, really building a foundation of guys who took advantage of this move. And then we'll have a big society of traders that we can, start moving into the next level of crypto, which is, getting behind long-term projects and really digging into this blockchain technology. So that way, as we move forward, we're really solidifying our investments and, just making sure that everybody who was around ends up, being able to, just kind of retire and continue to do what they like to do, So. Appreciate you guys, man.
No,
I'm happy.
I'm just going to say one more thing before I stop. For the new guys that have been messaging, and sometimes I do get private messages from these guys, and I'm sorry if I don't respond to everyone, but the question that they're asking me is how much money can you make? Honestly speaking, when I got into this, I was thinking, I could probably I'm doing this full time, this is my job. I could probably do $100 a day, $200 a day. But honestly speaking, you can easily do 1,000 a day. Easily. And you don't need a lot of money, you can do it with $100. Just remember that. I've done it, that's why I'm saying this. I'm not just talking here, I'm telling you the truth. So some of you guys know me because I exchange private messages with you, you understand what I started off with. The only issue that you have to be disciplined, and you can't deviate from the system. And I've tried thinking I'm really smart now in 6 weeks, and it just bites you in the ass really hard right away. So, I've been taking those bites as well, but I'm trying to get to the system, like stop losses and stuff. I know it's difficult because when you're playing with a lot of money, it's difficult because it eats up your cash right away. If it hits 20%, 2 or 3 times you're out of $600. But better losing $600 than a K or 2 in your account. So follow the system, it works, and you can earn. Anyone in here, anyone. I told you, never traded before. I'm 54. I didn't even know what crypto shit was, until talked to VC and got into this. And you can easily do 500 a day sleeping. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna quit now.
Yeah, and I think what you want to do is this is kind of what we started this video is with, kind of like understanding where, because now that I understand, there's guys that love to trade, like Carlos, right? And I was talking to him for an hour today, and so I'm like, all right, guys, look, there's all types of trades here, and you can win every trade. You just have to understand what they're worth. So when we're doing C trades, we're taking 30% of our money.
You
right?
nailed it. Like make that like bold, italicized, underlined. Know exactly what you're getting into. A C trade, be happy with 30. B trade, be happy with 50. A trade, 100 plus, 200 plus. Like that was my biggest thing. And I don't mean to step on your toes, but just like people need to know that, you know what I mean. If you take these little sniper trades, you know what I mean. Take profit, 75% take out on 30. Be happy with that.
Well, it's building. It's like I was telling him today. I'm like, listen, that's why I'm saying, like, guys, when you start off, right, the next video that comes out, like, we'll go through this Bitcoin trade today. But what it is like the beginning of this video, I started out with what it is, right? What it is you still start off the same way. We start with $10, and you learn how to use the tools, how to get in a trade, how to get out of trade, how to use MEXC, and you win 7 trades in a row, and you take 10 to 20, and then when you take 20 to 40. You then divide into the class trades, right? Meaning that $10 of your $40 is dedicated to C trades and B trades, and A trades wait for $30, right? Meaning that when you get into a trade, you have a $40 trading bag, right? So once you double your 20, hit 7 trades in a row, go to $40, you then go down to your $10 bag, and when you're working a C trade, you take your $10 and you trade, and you enter your trade when you think you're right, and you set your stop loss at 15%. You set your take profit at 30, and you run your trade, and you should hit those trades for 30%. And if you get 3 of those trades while you're waiting for a trade to become a B trade, that should give you $3, $6, $9 out of your 10, and so that way when the B trade comes, you now have, instead of a $10 small bag, you now have a $19 small bag that you can get into the B trades and start working the B trades over with $19. You know what I mean? And now you're taking 30% on 19, so now you're taking $5 a trade. So if you get 2 B trades in, you know what I mean? There you go. You got $10 more on top of it. So now you got another 30. So now when you get to an A trade, you've just worked your way up. You grind it out a little bag into a fucking $30 bag, and now your main bag was 30, and now you grinded the 10 to a 30. Now you have a $60 main bag that you put into the A trade. Now that can go for 50% to 100, right? So let's just say it does 50, right? So you take in another 30, right? Now at this point, you just turned $40 into 90. Right? Worst case scenario, 70. Right? Now you're like, okay, that was successful, like, run of a trade. Right? And you could get a second A trade that does another 50 with the 70, which is another 35, meaning you took 40 to $100. That's simple. Right? Now, if you continue to do that like you're supposed to, eventually your 40 will become a $100 trading bag, and then your small bag will become 20, and you work it over, right? And then from 100 it becomes a $200 main bag, and your smaller bag goes from 20 to 40, right? And you keep growing there, right? So eventually you have a $1,000 main bag, and you have a $100 small bag, which you work on your C trades and your B trades. You can mess up on your C trades, and what this is going to do is teach you volume and how to start recognizing when something is a real trade, right? So even if you're losing a couple of your $100, 15% stop losses, right? 100. So basically, out of $100, $15, $15. Let's say you lose 2 in a row, $30. You come back and you hit another one for 30%. You get your money back, and you're kind of just going back and forth, and then you start to realize, like, oh, this is becoming a better trade. So then you go over and say, okay, I'm going to trade now the $100, but now I'm going to go to 200 because this is finally the trade I've been waiting for. Now you take 30% on 200, right? $60, and you keep working that over, boom, $60, $60, and then you're like, oh, this is becoming an A trade, right? So now you got 60, 60, 60, or let's just say 2 of them, you got 120. So you took your 200, you made it 120 profits. Then you move over to your $1,000 bag, and then you get your A trade, right? And you take that extra, profit that you made there, that 300, 320, and you add that to your $1,000 bag, and you get into your trade. Now you're taking that profit that you made, and you're getting it for another 50% or even 100. Worst case scenario, 50, which is another 150 bucks on that 300. All right. So at the end of the day, that $100 bag has created $450 by the time you get done with a trade. You see what I'm saying? Compounding. Use smaller bags on riskier trades and use the big bags when the shit is ready to go. Right? And that's how you build up those bags. And that's how you really catch the trades that you want. And then you'll get the, like Carlos loves the trade, but that'll allow him to trade and trade and trade, and then he'll start seeing the bigger trades and put the real money in on the right trades. That's the next thing that we're putting together is, allowing guys to learn how to continue their entries on C trades and B trades, but not getting heavy until we get into the A trade section, and that's where you start using your full bag. You know what I mean? And that should help a lot of guys out. What do you guys think about that one?
Hey, one little tidbit that I think some of the guys will get frustrated when they'll see some guys post, wins and whatnot, and like be like, or at least it usually comes from the guys that just entered the group, and they'll be like, hey, why don't we call out these trades so we can all make money? And like like I understand their frustration, and I felt kind of this in the way in the beginning too, that the academy is not a call out system where it's like mindlessly follow anything that someone says. It takes time and confidence to be able to call out a trade, be like, hey, I feel like this is turning into something, and I try to call out my trades, but I want people to know that that if anyone in the chat calls out a trade, you still have to go in, check the indicators, see if it lines up to what you think it is, and if say, oh my God, you know what, the 1 hour volume isn't right, or the 30-minute moon hasn't hit, or something that you don't see that happened, call it out, and no one will be mad that you did that because they might overlook it, and that's what we all are held accountable for. But the better we get as a group, the more people will feel confident in calling out trades. And if people don't call out a trade, it means that they might not necessarily have been as confident to call it out. And that's part of you'll get there soon, big guy type of thing, right? And just have that
I think I think like we'll address that a little more straight ahead and say, hey, listen, when you come in, your job is to call out when the 2 hour does this and the 1 hour does that, right? But you have to understand it's everyone else's job to go there and find out when they see that call out, what is the correct entry, and then call out when they're entering, right? Why are you entering? Did you wait for the 15-minute red moon? Did you enter with the 3-minute red moon, right? There's all these moments that become why you enter. It's just so, here's the funniest thing, but is that all call outs, like no matter how you get them, right? When you're in a call out or what do they call that? What is that stupid thing, man? I know they do it on Discord a lot, but there's a Telegram, right? When you're in a Telegram group and they call out a trade, they don't say, hey, enter at $5.50. They say entry at $5.30 to $505.60. Like it's a big ass section to enter. You know what I mean? So they're never giving you the exact entry. They give you a area to enter. And then it's your job to enter correctly. Now the thing about using higher leverage is that you need to enter correctly, right? Which is simple. You need to go to your 3 minute, find a 3 minute red moon, find a 3 minute red trend, right? And work your entries, right? So, but this is where we need to be, now that I'm going to finish up this video on breaking up the smaller bag for C's and B trades, and then bigger bags for A trades, right? And then once I get that video out, all the videos that come after that are going to be pretty focused on when somebody, like, we're going to get really good at calling out RSIs and moons and all that stuff inside the Discord. And then I'm going to track the trade, and I'm going to do the trade and make a video on it. And then I'm going to be explaining that when you see the trade being called out, your job is to call out the entry, right? Not just enter, right? So if I look at the Discord and Boogie says, hey man, audio is 2 hour whatever, right? So, there's all types. You guys are fucking killing this thing here. Like, Jesus. Whew. Too many wins here, boys. And so, like, when things get called out, it's your job to take a call out and say, oh, the volume is low on audio or some shit, right? Your job as inside the group is to then go in there and be like, okay, the volume's low. We're waiting on, looks like we need the volume to get below the 15 minute, right? And then when the volume gets below the 15 minute on the 4.5 line, you call that out, right? Or you say, all right, I'm waiting on the 15 minute RSI to bounce up. I'm going to enter when it rejects, right? That's your job, is to point out what the entries are, right? And then guys can come in and be like, oh, you know what? Wait for this, right? Like, you're jumping on the 15 minute, but you're missing the 1 hour red moon, right? So it's going to be, the next level is to take guys and get them into a situation where they're learning that they need to call out the entry points for everybody. So that way they're not jumping in, they're starting to learn to navigate the entry. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you said that exact point, because I used to jump real early, and then I would cost average buy my ass off to stay in that trade, and then most of the time I win, but sometimes I get bit. But what I do now, and I've been in here long enough that I feel like I can, and I see some guys that'll be like, yo help me out, and like, if I'm sitting watching a trade, I don't mind helping people out, but I like now to not post my win without having said that I was going to take that trade. Yeah. And this is one last thing that keeps me like making sure that I have all the check marks checked, even if I get a little early in, but I'll post something that I'm about to get in. That way, if I post a win, if you scroll up, I called it out.
Yeah.
And
well, you also want to do it to hold yourself accountable.
Exactly, and that's exactly why. Because if I'm gonna call out a trade, then it's because I'm confident that it's going to do what what the indicators are saying it's going to do. Eventually, and entry is crucial. But it's helped me be more 7, 8, 9 out of 10s than 5 out of 10s, because I'm not just jumping and jump, and
So I think the next thing that we do is we put down the entry points, like need a 15-minute red moon, 30-minute red moon, 1 hour red moon. These are entry points. When those three hit, those are your entry points. Second entry, call out when there's a 3-minute red moon for the entry, right? Or 15-minute top for the entry, right? These are things that we're going to be looking for to get an entry. So when you see someone call out a possible trade, your job isn't to jump in the trade, but to post when you're going to jump in the trade, waiting for the 15-minute to bend down. And then everyone can be like, okay, and then people can look and be like, oh man, hold up. The volume needs to be below this on the 1 hour, or if it's a C trade, right? You're like, all right, so and post that shit. Yo, I'm in a C trade when the 15-minute bends down. We need to be more specific on what trade we're doing and what we're waiting on, so that when we review the trade, I know what you're trading. versus kind of trying to understand what you're trading. Like today, Carlos calls out a fucking Bitcoin short, and I looked at it and I was like, there's nothing here that says Bitcoin's going down.
And Carlos plays the 1 minute, literally, like,
Yeah,
so in and out, like, and I said it, if you scroll back up, I said a disclaimer. I was like, today's kind of like an FOMC meeting. I was like, the boys are having fun with the pump and dump. Like, just be very careful. It's very volatile. Like they're watching 1 minute like ups and downs right now. This is not the academy. I made it bold for anyone that was watching. And,
that's where
but
we have
Carlos
to be.
is good at that, but just know that, like, as you watch the system, follow the system, and then, as you get better, you'll be able to take pieces of that and kind of fine tune into your strategy. Some of us are more degenerate, like quicks, like we need them bang, 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 bang. Some of us need to like sit back and see it all materialize before we can even jump one trade while someone else took 10. That's fine, but like, just make sure your win is a win, and we're all winning,
Yeah. Now, I talked to Carlos today. I kind of went over because he's like, man, I haven't watched the Volume is King video. I was like, bro, that's like the game changer. And then I went over the trade he was in. He was like, oh, all right. So I'm going to sharpen Carlos up over the next week. Right now he's dealing with that storm, but after he's done with that storm, we're going to spend a couple days together and help him get a lot better. So that way, when he's calling out trades, they're actually like good trades.
But he also used auto margin too. Don't sleep on that.
Yeah.
And he's got the bags to roll with that, and people should know that he can get immaculate entries with auto margin, but that is not 100x leverage is already risky. He uses 200x leverage and auto margin with big ass bags. Yeah. So like, just know that that's a dude in another planet.
Yeah.
He does well, but just know that's not the system. Learn the system, follow the system, and then one day you can get there. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's in
the 30% system. So I mean, once he gets the rest of it down, he's going to be a dangerous guy. Right? That's the beauty of it. It's like, once we get him, fine tuned, then you got a real, you got an asset there because he's always hunting things down. Now we just get him to like make the best fucking trades, and then he's going to see.
So if I can chime in here, the worst thing the newbies or the newcomers can do is look at the Discord and you see a coin and someone says, enter long now, enter short now, except if it's VC. Because the reason is VC knows the team, knows the capacity of every one of you, right? He knows how many newcomers are there, how many experience are there. But someone very experienced, someone who is, who does this, works on 3 minute, 1 minute, and he calls out and you guys jump on it. Because I'm going to admit that everyone wants to make money. When I first joined, I was like, learning's going to take a long time. Let me start making some money. Got bills to pay, right? So I would hop on. But when shit goes sideways, and it will, it's not all the time, but out of 10 trades, one or like last night, I think I shared this with Boogie and Carlos in that last night, I got dumped SFP. I made really good money because I got early entry. I made like close to 300%. But then I watched the Discord and everyone's talking about, it's going to go high. I'm like, okay, let me hop in again, re-enter. And I was out with my wife somewhere and I was playing on my phone and I entered. And I dumped 100%, and it was my big bag. And I could not even flash close because of the internet lag and everything. It took out 120, 150%. So, I mean, don't do that. Do it when you understand the system. You know how you can save your ass if something goes sideways. You know how to close, how to, take profits out or do all this stuff.
You gotta put
then
that
start
stock
following people on the Discord. Otherwise, you will, whatever you have, you will lose. So when someone says a coin, first of all, one answer is, because a lot of people ask him, where do you find these coins? All the coins that I have 72 coins in my trading view. It's all from the Discord. I didn't go look for it anywhere. Whenever I see someone post a coin, I add that. Whenever I see a new coin, I add that. That's how you should do it. You should add the coins to your trading view. And
go through them. If someone Boogie posts something, okay, enter this one. Go through the system and see if the volume is there. If this is, just don't blindly sign up, because he might be doing something right now. He might be busy. Might be serving breakfast to his kids, and he looked at something, and he missed out on something, and he said, okay, this is good, and it might not be. So I just wanted to add that, because I know that a couple of guys complained saying that you don't call out the coin. They sent me a private message saying, oh, you post all these numbers, you're selfish, you're not calling out and giving us the entries. And I don't want to get into
Yeah.
texting back and forth with them. But anyway, I just wanted to clear that out, why I don't do that.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I mean, this is why we have to that's kind of like the smallest part of it. Like, yeah. So for you, like we have to go in and say, all right, listen. It's a very simple thing, and I think I'll create a little channel, and it'll just be like a page of understanding call-outs, right? Like everyone's going to call out. Shane will call out what he's trading, right? But it is a very simple responsibility of everyone to explain their entries, right? So that's where we need to now the next thing, now that we got all these videos and all the lessons are out there, I don't think we're pretty much sewed up here. This thing is pretty airtight. So the next thing is holding people accountable for their trade, their entries, and how to use the system properly. Then everyone can call out what they see, but the most important thing is who's calling out the correct entry, right? And that's what people have to do. Like when you see a call out, do not take a trade unless you post that you are entering off of a particular reason. Okay, I'm going to enter off the 3-minute red moon, 3-minute red trend. All right. Right? We will see that. Okay, well, yeah, what about the value? And then guys can ask questions like, well, yeah, I'm going to wait on the volume to break the 4.5 on the 15. I'm going to wait for the volume to break on the 1 hour 5 line. Right? So everyone will have their areas of entries, and it'll allow people to, post entries instead of jumping trades, right? So that's what I'll create a folder, so this way guys can start calling out the trades that they're in, right? And when you post something, man, like post it in there. So if you're posting a trade chain, like just post it in and say, yo, I'm about to enter this trade. Post why you're entering. I'm going to enter this trade, but I'm waiting for this to happen and this to happen. Good luck. You know what I mean? Give them the ideas.
I like it.
Yeah, and that's all it is, right? Like, hey, and if that shit doesn't happen, the trade goes crazy. It's like, well, sometimes it lines up, and sometimes the things didn't come up right away. But there's more trades coming, so just relax, guys. Like, we'll get the next one. It's safer to wait for things to happen.
I had Russ or Gus and Rich. It was last night. It was maybe like around midnight, and I was walking them both through an SFP short. I believe it was SFP. Anyway, but I was holding both their hands, asking both their questions, and I was really trying to help them get through like just the very bare minimum as to how and why. And we started going through it, and everything was like lining up the way I was saying it, which was working. But I had there was one moment that I wanted to address that last time, or next time I caught you live like this was, obviously the A trade, B trade with the 1 hour volume below the 5, right?
Yeah.
Like when can you look at lower time frame volumes and have that be your jump, or is it more of a red moon thing? Like 30-minute below the 5, then that's part of say the C trade, or
so, let's say. Yeah, and so basically, and this is kind of so the first thing is the C trade is the beginning of getting into the trades, right? It's the trades before the 4 hour crosses over, right? The B trade is when the 4 hour finally crosses over, and then the A trade is when we get our volume below the 5 line on the 1 hour, right? So once we see the volume moving, right, the higher volume time frames, right, the C trade and the B trade is when you want to use your 15-minute as your guide, right? You don't want to trade against that because the volume is too big, right? Now, once the A trade comes in and it hits its first mark, right, Then you use the 15 for the one last time, right? Like the 15 will come off the floor a little bit. Now let's take a look here on Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin, this is the first beginning of a B trade, right? So we're using the 15 minute here to get our trade, right? So when that 15 minute starts to head back down, that's our trade. We will get one more B trade where we'll use the 15 minute, and then once the volume breaks below the 5 line, we will use the 15 minute one more time, and then from there you will go to the lower time frames of the 5 minute, right? And that's where you start using that as your, you know, guide for the, you know, the times to, you know, the bounce that happens, and then take advantage of the next push down, right? And then once that starts to like kind of go in there, you know, I'm always using the 3 minute as a guide for the 5 minute. You know what I'm saying? Same thing, I use the 3 minute on the higher volume times, like when I'm taking a C trade, I will trade the 3 minute from the top down, right? And as soon as the 3 minute gets to the bottom, I'll get out of that trade, right? So I use the 3 minute a lot on all the volumes, right? But when I'm looking to, you know, enter, right, I'm always, you know, looking at the 15 minute until it finishes its first A trade, and then I start going to the 5 minute. Because by then the volume should be too low for the 15 minute to really matter. So use it one time in an A trade and then go to the 5 minute. But the 3 minute, right, is used for, I use that thing in the high volume to, you know, as soon as we enter, it hits its bottom, I get out. Because I respect the 3 minute with high volume, right? 3 minute on the high volume side, right? So more volume, right? You use the lower time frames to get, you know, your ins and your outs really quick. And then on when the volume breaks down, then you go to the 5 minute and you're using that to get the deeper runs. And then once again, you go back to your 3 minute. So we'll do a video on that and kind of like break that down. But that's kind of where I kind of get away from that 15 as soon as it does one A trade. Then I know that the next trades are going to be very weak. So I'll start looking for the 5 minute to be a guide.
Yeah, I've been noticing with the A trade that when you get the 4, the 2, and the 1 all bending down is super rare. To be able to get the 4 hour coming down, it means the 1 hour is already got gassed, and then it's coming back up. And to watch the bounce on the 1 hour to reject, yes. It doesn't necessarily need to come all the way back up and down, but to catch the A trade properly, the 4 hour is coming down, and the 1 bounces, and then catching the 4 hour and the 1 hour exactly. On its second move down. 4 hour 1 move down, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the test, that's the retest, right? That's the pullback. It's just reverse.
That's the A. Like so, and just for some of the other guys, like what I'll do is I'll look at CoinMarketCap, right? And if you look at the top gainer at the moment, that is probably 6 hours away from an A trade, 2 hours away from a B trade, and maybe an hour away from a pullback at best, right? So what I do is I'll start from like the 3rd, or depending on how big of a day the movement was, but look at like the 3rd, 4th through the 10th coin on the top gainers, and some of those coins already had their pump. So like sometimes I'll look at the 7th or 8th coin on the list, and it already had its pump, it already had its B trade, and now the 1 hour is already exhausted and it might be coming up a little bit. I've caught a couple of A trades just on that mindset alone because it's already had its move. And that's the problem with some people, is that they want the A trade, or at least for me, that I would look at B trades hoping for A's. It'd be just jumping the gun, and like, you know, that's what's frustrating to some people. It's like, oh shit, I gotta sit here for 6 hours staring at a coin. No, just advance your search to not look for the coin that just made a pump. You know, you use those for pullbacks. But if you're looking for an A trade, look at a coin that's already had its pump, came down, retested bouncing on the one with the 4 hour curling,
Right.
and then your money all
Yeah,
day.
and your money. That's the trade I like. I like the 1 hour coming down, bouncing up, and then when that 1 hour starts its back down movement, that's my trade. That's the one I like.
I want the team to like feel like that is the ultimate goal. Like, you know what I mean? They see some of us try doing pullbacks and they see the gains and they lose the focus. That should be what everybody's looking for. That is the golden goose for everyone here.
Yeah, that's
The
like the
easiest trade, VC's bread and butter.
Yeah,
Look
that's-
for
that's
those
the one.
A trades.
like
Everything else is just noise.
yeah, and I think like that's where I think taking the the 10% out of your $1,000 bag and just trading the 100, or trading $50 out of 500 to just work on C's and B's, and then when you get to the golden goose like that, then you go your $500 bag and you rip out 2, 3, 400% on that, and you're just like, damn, that's the best trade, right? And eventually you'll realize that trade happens 20 times a week. You just all depending on when you're up, what you're looking at, and when you take advantage of it. But you only need it to hit 4 times a week, right? Because if you got a $1,000 bag and you rip it for 100%, I mean, shit, that's $4,000 a week, man. That's 200,000 a year. So I don't know.
But the market makers
what else
know
you need.
while we're all in crypto is because we want to trade 100 times a day and do that weekly goal in one day.
Yeah.
And it happens, man. It does. Like a day like today. Today was a big, giant, noisy pump and dump. Like they didn't even get the ETF. They just reversed the ability for.
Yeah.
It was such a scammy day, but we were all here shorting it, and I'm glad that the team made money.
Oh,
But
dude.
like literally, they didn't get a BTC ETF yet.
No.
That was literally just the
Just the
judge
news.
saying, "Well, we should take another look at it." It's ridiculous, man. And like literally, everyone's like, "Ah, we're a bull run, buy Bitcoin," and it falls.
And it falls. Right. So somebody sent me a text, right? And let me go back and look. And I kind of like, I should spend more time like addressing these people, right? So like, you see what happened to BitBoy, right?
Oh my God, he's just a big fucking actor, and that he doesn't even own BitBoy. He's like not actually BitBoy.
Yeah, it's owned by a company.
That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
These influencers are owned by someone else, some other puppet or a puppeteer telling them what to say and pumping dumb shit. Like Mario Nafal. I commented on a post about BitBoy that Mario Nafal, he was like the Twitter self-proclaimed like independent journo for Twitter. And if you look into his past, and he owns a VC crypto firm for just pumping up NFTs, like, and with artificial bot accounts. And this YouTuber Upper Echelon completely called him out. He's in like a major lawsuit with him, and this type of shit happens all the time. And it got really bad with the NFT scam because I was in NFTs since the beginning, and you have to know when you get out, just like anything else. But it was the easiest. If you saw a whole bunch of people talking about it on Twitter, then the NFT, the floor price would jump. And people would FOMO in. And it was like, unless you were on the airdrop and got in before and sold before the actual drop, like, anyway, I got on a tangent, but yeah, BitBoy was a fucking actor, bro.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah. He doesn't own the name BitBoy. Now, we don't know if they bought him out, you know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of times...
I would imagine they bought him out at some point, and he just said, yeah, sure.
Yeah, because, I mean, they come as sponsors, and they're like, yo, BitBoy Crypto, I'll tell you what, like, we'll give you $100,000, and we own the platform, right? And then we'll
the
give
LLC that it's tied to, so any monetary gain we'll pay you. You don't pay us.
You don't pay us, right? And then if you're sitting there and somebody offers you 100,000, 200,000, and you're like, all right, I'll take that. And your job is just to be entertaining. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny, man. Like I was thinking to myself, like,
Really is.
yeah, I mean, like, you know, I used to call these guys out all the time, but I think about like, all right, look, maybe we should start a new thing, man. Like just kicking off new TikToks, like just calling out all of them, right? Because they're all full of shit. Like they all call out the worst fucking coins. They never go up, like never. You know what I mean? I had emails and text messages from people like, this guy charges, you know, I'm in this group and it's $400 a month and he just called out Ethereum and blah blah blah, and you know, big guys like, you know, Brown and all these guys, and they're never right. And I just thought about like, man, maybe I just need to start going after these guys. Like, man, look at these calls you made. That is not going to happen. Like, you're the worst influencer. You're terrible at what you do. You know, it's just, it's terrible. People need to learn the basics. Like, none of that makes sense. Like, none of what you're saying makes any sense. There's no purpose to it.
Guys, 90% of these guys on there, when you talk about Mario and them, I know him personally. I met that guy. They're all scammers. Literally, they do not care if someone loses their money. They don't care. You go bankrupt, you go broke. They do not have a heart.
No,
So I'm going to be very candid and honest with you. These guys are totally scammers. They scam everywhere. Mario's based out of Dubai. He's from Australia. He scams people when he says he's going to put an ad and everything. And there's no system. There's no way he will not give you stats. How many people seen your ad or whatever, and he charges the company from 15,000 to 100,000 K. So it's not so much him. They only survive because people are gullible. They're naive. I understand. They want to make money. They want to pay bills. They got to feed their families. But a lot of these people that you know, buy into the shit. And 90%, like I said, when I first met VC, first question, it's funny that, you know, when I called him, I asked him, do I gotta send you my money? How's this gonna work? Are you gonna say send it to my account? He's like, no, we don't take your money. We don't do anything. I teach you how to trade. You trade with your own money, and you can start with $5. That's exactly what he told me on the phone. BC, you there, right?
Yeah.
And you know, when you hear things like that, you're like, and usually in this world, it's always, yeah, give me 50 grand, give me 5 grand, give me 10 grand, I'll make it 1 million, I'll do this. These are all scammers. They just want to rip you off, take your money and run away. Never give you a dime back. Doesn't matter if your family's dying, they don't give a fuck.
No, they're terrible.
So they're all scammers, yeah. Stay away from them. They just get publicity, and sometimes this is the reason I don't like Elon a lot now. I used to like him before, but he just cares about Twitter, he just cares about ratings. He doesn't care if they're scammers, he pumps them. With Mario, he's already done 2 or 3 sitting interviews. That's how Mario got really pumped on Twitter. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I mean, it's a big, you know, I was thinking about it earlier and I was like, you know, right now we're down. I spent the last, I mean, if people knew, Boogie, how long you follow me, Boogie? How long you been following me?
About a year now.
Yeah. So like Boogie came in about a year. I think it was right, I can't remember, like, but it might have been right when we had Venture Capitalist. We had about 160,000 followers, and then I got my account.
Yeah, I was following you before before I joined. I was with you for like a couple months, and I saw this stuff that you're about to say. I remember you saying it, but that was before I joined Discord.
Yeah. I mean, I was calling out scammers, and then they ended up banning my main account, and then I took another account to 100,000. But I mean, I've been on TikTok influencing for over 3.5 years, right? So, I mean, I was ahead of all these guys, right? And every time they said something, I would be like, that's not correct. That's not how it's going to happen. And I used to invite them out, like Wendy O, all these people. I used to invite them out, and they used to come on and like debate with me or talk crypto. And eventually, what happened is that they realized that when they were talking to me, they just didn't understand. They just didn't have the knowledge that they needed in crypto. And then their own people would start following me. So they started banning me. Like they wouldn't join my lives. You know, they wouldn't come in, and it was just funny to me because it was just like. And then I would watch their videos, and I would be like, well, none of this is actually correct. I remember Wendy when I was telling everyone Doge was at 0.8% of a penny. And I was like, guys, Doge is going to be big. And she was telling everyone, Doge is a meme coin, babes. Like, I still got the video. And I was like, you have no idea where we're at or what we're doing here. This is all about trends. Like, this is just, This is just marketing. This is just money. And if you don't understand that, then you're just going to be in a situation where, you know, everybody that's following you is just not going to, you know, be in a good situation because you don't understand how this works. Like, this is a whole new generation of making money, and you got to get to the point where you understand, you know, how to make money, right? And it's just, she just didn't understand that. So, you know, we got into a big debate about it, and then after a while, she just blocked me. And then we kept like moving through everything, and you know, we used to just go through everybody. So it was a good time, you know. And I kind of like, I got away from doing after the big bull run and going through all the coins. I mean, I called out ACH at like a penny. It went to 19 cents. I was talking about Safe Moon. Dude, this Anthony, so many guys in the Discord, like they went in Safe Moon. Guys made $500,000 on it. And, you know, I just got out of calling coins, and I started getting to like, you know, we started focusing more on trading, right? Because people needed to learn how to trade, like to survive in this next generation. So that's really what I focused on over the last year and a half. And now I'm kind of at the point now that's done. I was looking at it like, man, maybe we should go back in and, you know, start digging into, you know, crypto, but actually like real information, right? Because these guys, they just don't understand crypto at all, man. It's a very, very simple thing to get, but they're not, like I was telling you, why are you hodling? Like, why are you hodling something that has no value? Like, that's just stupid. Like, there's no profit. Like, there's no need to hodl something that has no, you know, product. Second thing is that the circulating supply is 47%. So you can literally, everything you're buying is worth half the price right now. It's like ridiculous. But people just don't understand it, just didn't get it. So I was kind of like sitting back like, all right, we'll get back to influencing crypto and going over coins and like actually like teaching people crypto, because it's just the people that are out there they just don't get it, man. They don't understand.
Yeah, 2022 was 90, I don't know, it was like 85 or 90% futures. The entire last year, the volume in crypto was all futures. And if you're hearing this now, know you're in the right place, because, you know, and like, you know, like get into what coins to hodl like through the next bull market and sell at the top type shit. Learn how to take profits, that type of shit. But also, like, if you're listening to this right now, like, I wish I knew this 3 years ago, bro, because I wouldn't be holding a fucking coin at all. I mean, I'm only holding because of the bear market.
Yeah.
And some of my positions are in the red. I've had XRP since 2017. I bought it at 12 cents. So I'm still in there, but I've seen a lot more, and I wish I would have taken profits. But if I knew how to play futures 3 years ago, oh man, we'd all be on my boat right now.
Yeah. No, it changes lives, man. It's a whole new world. So I've just been kind of like looking at it like, you know, when crypto is going to become, you know, right now we had a lot of regulations, and we're still going through like a little bit, you know, a lot of these lawsuits, like the XRP lawsuit isn't really that great for crypto. Because it just basically says that if anything was put on the market after they had a product, it's going to be a security, right? So the guys who, the guys who created the token and bought a soccer team, you know what I'm talking about, Boogie? So those guys are down.
Breaking out. What'd you say?
Remember the guys who used crypto and tokenized a soccer team? You remember that? Like 2 years ago, year and a half? Where they bought a soccer team and you could buy tokens and own percentages of the soccer team?
I think I remember hearing rumors of that, yeah.
Yeah. So those guys are real, right? So they're actually, I know these guys. So now they're down in Miami trying to buy a $280 million hotel, tokenizing. But you have to be but see, that's what I mean. Like, people don't realize, like, you know, we're deep in crypto. Like, we got big investments in crypto, but you have to be, so in order to buy any of these tokens to get part of this hotel, and they're only going to sell 20% of the tokens, right? And it's going to come down to you basically, every token you buy will give you 1% of the profits of the hotel. You have to be a certified investor, because the 20 tokens are sold as securities, right? So that's what a lot of people
Accredited,
don't.
accredited investor.
Yeah,
right?
you got to be an accredited investor. Everything has to be on the top of the line. So I mean, like, I don't really talk about the shit that I'm doing behind the scenes because it's like that's like we're like in the middle of like heavy moments in crypto. You know, these are big moments here, guys. Like when I'm telling you, like, yo, crypto is making moves. It's because crypto is making moves. Like things are happening. When people are like, when I was talking about everything will be, I was talking about how everything will be tokenized. Literally, two and a half years ago. You know, a lot of people didn't realize what I was saying. I was like, hey, everything that you buy will be tokenized. Like you will.
Tokenization is literally why we're all here, and if you don't understand that, then you got to do some read ups because that's literally why blockchain technology will take over. Like what? And just XRP alone as a bridge currency, if they take over Nostro Vostros, we're talking quadrillions of dollars per fucking day. Like that's when if XRP goes to $1, I'm like I know what I hold. I'm here for a different type of money. You know what I mean? I'm not selling at 50. I'm not selling at 100. I'm waiting for the utility of these coins. Yes, you can make money tops and bottoms, and that's why we're learning how to trade futures, which is what we're doing now with the system. But when it comes to like what blockchain technology was actually designed for, like Satoshi Nakamoto is an acronym, bro. That's like they already know who it is. It's no secret. The 3-letter agencies made these shits, man. Like it's when you start tokenizing debt, like the actual debt.
Yes.
Like that's how banks work. They work on debt. And when you tokenize that, bro, it's game over.
So you have to understand, like, if you actually knew, this is what makes me laugh. Like, you know, so when you've seen where I used to make fun of like the influencer. I would watch their video and then correct them, and then they would try to make a video and try to be educating, and then I would just grill them, right? So you know that was my funnest part of doing TikToks was like getting into debates, right? And then people were trying to tell me how Bitcoin was centralized, and I was like, the Bitcoin is not centralized. And they're like, oh, nobody owns it, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay. I was like, so how? If you know so much about Bitcoin, then you know how many miners there are, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, all right. So who makes the most money when they mine? And the guys go back and they're looking at it, and they were like, well, it's mining, it's everything. I said, nah. I said the people that make money in the mining, it's literally 1% of the miners make 90% of the profits. Like, how is that possible? Like, if something is centralized or decentralized, how the hell can a very small percent of the people mining make all the money? You know what I mean? And when you look at Bitcoin, if you
DC, you're breaking up. I think it's your noise cancellation thing.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, much better.
So basically, like with Bitcoin, if you look at Bitcoin, if you really look at Bitcoin, it's centralized because 1% of the miners make literally 90% of the profits, which is absolutely impossible if the algorithm is sharing and there's computers fighting for the position to get paid on Bitcoin, right? So it's impossible for that percent to actually be that high. And then if you really look at Bitcoin, right? I love it when we get deeper into Bitcoin. If you understand Bitcoin, and the more you look into Bitcoin, you will realize that Bitcoin is built like an algorithm, and its entire design is built on a algorithm that already existed, and where it existed was inside of the banking system. It's how the banks actually, there's Boogie was talking about the Nostros and Votros, but inside the banking system, they have an algorithm that they use to calculate the amount of money they have from wires and money from loans and things that they sent to other banks that they have out into the public, that they can estimate the value of those particular loans and things that they have, basically tokenized. Bitcoin is built in the exact same algorithm. So the odds of that happening is actually zero. The only way Bitcoin could be built the exact same way that a bank uses to calculate its funds that are on loans and IOUs is if Bitcoin was actually built by a bank.
My man.
So if you don't know shit about what you're talking about, then, you got to stop talking about shit. That's all I'm asking them when they're talking and trying to like explain what they know. I just need them to understand that you have to be more educated before you talk to me, because it's not going to end well.
And hasn't Bitcoin been like forked like 3 times? It's not even the original code. Like what we're trading right now, when you go to BTC, like that isn't the original Bitcoin.
No, the original Bitcoin was built. It got hacked. When it wasn't a hack, it was basically that it froze up, and then it was too big. So then they were like, all right, this algorithm's too big, and they divided it up. And when they forked it, they designed it to basically move a lot quicker, but it's still a massive program, because you got to realize when you're dealing with a bank is one entity. It's not, the world, you know what I'm saying? So when you expand this program that they had inside the bank was just using it to calculate its own personal assets. Now you're asking it to calculate 21 million assets. It's a big difference, right? So the system is slow. So then they tried to speed up the system. Now inside of Bitcoin, there is a code that is pre-written into the center of Bitcoin, and it is actually designed to make Bitcoin 10 times faster. The problem is that every people, the community doesn't know if they remove that code and actually turn Bitcoin loose, if it will crash Bitcoin completely, or if it will, run as designed. So Bitcoin is actually developed, and it has a program inside of it that makes it slower, right? That's the weirdest thing about Bitcoin is designed to be slow. Right? If they remove that code, then Bitcoin will be literally 100 times faster. Like it'll change everything on it. So they're just worried that, without, the main creator is that, okay, they see the code and everyone agrees that they can remove it. The problem is everyone agrees it should make Bitcoin 10 times faster. The problem is nobody is willing to take the risk and say, build the atom bomb. You know what I mean? Like they're not willing to pull this code. And that's the problem right there, right? And that's what kind of holds Bitcoin back. And it's designed that way. It's just the way it is. So when they forked Bitcoin, that's where, you got Litecoin. And Litecoin was supposed to be that's why it's called Litecoin, is because Litecoin was supposed to go to New York, and then New York was supposed to put it into the financial system. And then by using what's called Litecoin, meaning the lighter version of Bitcoin, would have been used for the transactions to move, money across the borders quickly, because it's lighter than Bitcoin. It's supposed to be faster. So that kind of slowed down. And then that's when people realized that they could start forking Bitcoin. And then they created a coin called Joker. And the Joker coin was half of Litecoin, which was supposed to be, the joke is, you want to use Litecoin as the main one, but we can create a coin just like you, right? That's the point of the Joker coin. And then what happened was Dogecoin was forked from Joker coin to be made into a meme coin that had an endless supply, meaning the joke is crypto is going to become the world's money, but here's a coin based on Bitcoin that has an endless supply. So like Bitcoin is designed to have 21 million, Dogecoin is designed to have no end, and that's the joke. That's the butt of it, right? So that's how you got Dogecoin. So, but that's why Dogecoin is so quick, so fast, and has security, is because it's based on Bitcoin. It's just designed, where it has an endless supply. Now, if you take that into accountability and you study Dogecoin, you'll realize that Dogecoin is actually used all over the world, more transactions than Bitcoin, Ethereum combined. And the fact that it actually has an endless supply being minted every day, but yet somehow it continues to hold its value above 6 to 7 cents, even though it's being minted every day.
The largest hodler community on Earth, the lowest, not IQ, but just experience in crypto, hold Doge.
Yeah. Well, dude,
I mean, I'm
Doge.
asking, would you maybe a way to quantify why the hodler percentage is so high?
It's
Because the amount of people that hold Doge just don't know they bought it and they won't ever sell it because they don't.
no, bro. They use it. They use it.
Oh, use it, yeah, like for payment.
Yeah, bro. People are sent Doge. Doge is the most famous crypto coin around the world. Like it is, you can walk into places and they take Doge. Like they won't even like, dude. During the biggest run of 2021, I was literally walking into liquor stores and on their wall they had a scanner for Doge, and I was like, oh, you take Bitcoin? And they're like, hell no, we only take Doge. I was like, huh? It was like, it's really the people's coin. Like there are so many people doing transactions in Doge. It's unbelievable. Like Doge is the people's coin. That's why I said, yo, I don't care what you guys say. Doge, it will eventually hit $1. Like it's the people's coin. It is what they want to use. It's secure. It's fast. And then when the developers came back to Doge and they started beefing up Doge, right, and creating, was that Songbird? Songbird was a crazy project because Songbird was designed to bring DeFi and smart contracts to XRP and XLM, because that was kind of like the downside to.
They took forever to come out. Actually, the new XLSD or XLS30D,
Mhm.
the new they're about to vote on it for XRP to bring smart contracts to the XRP ledger, making Songbird and Flare kind of useless. I don't know. I feel like they kind of fell off. Everybody was supposed to get their airdrops. They took like a year and a half
Yeah.
to even drop those. But I think they're about to circumvent them completely and use them or see them as useless.
Yeah,
The
no.
whole community, like you guys used us to use the XRP army to for your airdrop and your utility, but I don't know.
You failed to deliver. No, I'm not mad at
You
him.
think they're still gonna Canary, Songbird, Flare?
This is the problem, is that, we're sitting in the middle of creation, right? There's a lot of people that want to do something, but you have to really understand that this is right now you're investing in a bunch of guys literally standing in their garage, right? Literally standing in their garage saying, hey, I got a code, right? So just think about, Bill Gates sitting in his garage and he's like, yo, I got this thing called the computer. And you got all these other people going, hey, I got this program that's for the computer, right? And it's kind of like, that's where we're at right now. We're in the middle of everyone telling us that they're building this thing from blockchain, right? Everyone's building something. And that's really where we're at. These guys are literally in their garage. Like every one of these coins is a startup. No one has developed anything. We haven't even got to the stage of when the people start learning. So this coin blockchain will start moving and start being productive in the next year, because in a year and a half, you're going to have new blood coming out of college that is learning blockchain technology and coding. These guys will become the developers. The only reason why Ethereum is actually in charge of everything is because they kind of blocked everybody out, kind of like what Bill Gates did with
Secret whales, bro.
Yeah.
ETHgate.
ETHgate.
It's fucking real, bro.
Oh yeah, for sure, bro. I mean, dude, Gary Gessinger was on the board, but
You know what I mean?
yeah, everybody knows what happened there. But you got to realize that there's kids going to school right now to be developers in
Like
blockchain.
Quincy Jones. Have you ever seen any of the content from Quincy Jones? He's the developer for XDC and R3 Corda.
No, I haven't seen any of that.
He's a young black kid, super smart. Like if anyone listen to his content, he worked for XDC and R3 Corda. He's on YouTube. Young kid, absolutely brilliant. Like that's exactly what VC's talking about right now. Like that's the future. Like people seeing what can be done with this and
Oh, yeah.
actually doing it and creating real
Yeah.
things, not just fucking poo coins and pump and dumps.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're not even like as soon as they break through this, as soon as they get out of college and we get these new developers in a year and a half, then these guys will start building shit. Right now, you got Flare and Songbird. They're all promising, they have a great idea, but they can't build the shit because they don't have no developers. Why don't they have developers? Because Ethereum is taking all the developers and paying them not to be there. So they're just cock blocking the entire fucking industry, right? So eventually it's opening up more jobs. So it's like think of it like this, guys. We just found out how to build a house and now we need carpenters, right? So what do we need? We need trade schools, right? These guys take, they're going to take a year or two to get through trade school and then they're going to start building shit, right? So all these ideals are great, guys. They just haven't been built, right? So you're investing in shit that doesn't exist yet. It's just a fucking white paper. That's why I tell you guys, why are you hodling? Why are you holding? Why are these people talking about fucking hodling? Like, Jesus, you have no idea on what the fuck you're talking about. Like, you should stop. Like, it's terrible. You're telling people to buy a fucking house that is, the minute you buy it is like you lose 50% of it. Like, this is not, you have to realize what you're doing here. This is a long-term move and the profits are going to be massive, but it's not until they build something. So stop telling people to buy fucking Solana. Stop telling people to buy all this shit and hold it when it doesn't matter. Like, you buy something when the supply gets down to 95% circulating, and then you start getting in the coins that actually are connected to building everything, right? That's where you really start building. But yeah, I mean, you got to realize XRP is the most, you have to separate it. XRP, the coin, is the greatest utility coin, right? It's not really, Ripple owns the ledger. The ledger uses the coin, right? So you have to differentiate that point, that the coin is valuable to its usage, which is utility, and the utility is for cross-border payments. So when does XRP become valuable? Well, XRP becomes valuable the moment that crypto becomes alive, meaning that when in a year and a half or 2 years and these projects start creating money, people are going to start putting money in crypto, and they're not going to put it in like, normal shit, because here's how it goes, right? So you go over here and you're like, oh, I'm going to Coinbase, right? Because you don't know shit. So you go to Coinbase and you buy some coins and you're like, oh, I'm buying some coins. I'm going to buy, what do I buy? And you're like, all right, fuck it. I'll get USDT. So you order a bunch of USDT and then you go to buy something and you realize they charge you fucking 15%. You're like, what the fuck? Right? You just paid 15% to fucking invest because you used the fucking USDT coin. Right, or you go to send money, right? So let's say you put $1,000 in there, and your son gets on crypto, and you're like, here, I'll send you some money. So you send him $100 worth of USDT, and they take what, $10? You're like, damn, 10%. You start realizing that's fucking stupid. Then after a while, everyone who's smart or pretty much somewhat witted is going to say, okay, well, what's the best way to transfer money? And everybody knows that's XRP, XLM. Because Europe already does that. Europe doesn't use USDT to send money. They use XLM. So then people will just start buying XRP and XLM and just holding it because that's how they move money, right? And eventually XRP will become stable, right? Meaning as you start to put in there, it will no longer go down. It'll only like fluctuate up and back to where you bought it, right? So it'll become a stable type of coin, and it'll slowly grind its way up because people will start using it all over the world, right? Because you're transferring, you're buying.
So 4 out of the 5 BRICS members are members of ODL and are already partners with Ripple.
For sure,
Which
yeah.
I find huge, and there's a little spooky underlining thing with XRP in that it was said a while back that it was created from the same IP address as Bitcoin, as Bitcoin 2.0, and a way to actually solve a problem and stop World War III. Because if USD fails as the world reserve currency, how can we keep that mentality up? And I believe that the BRICS countries in a level playing field, and you'll hear politicians all around the world keep saying this term,
A level playing field. Yes.
With BRICS and a gold-backed currency, whether or not, if you think XRP is going to be backed by gold, I don't think that's not the purpose of it. It's basically, if you have a lump of gold and I have a lump of gold and we trade 100 times in a month, at the end of that month, what's the ledger say that I owe you? And then I'll send you that in XRP, and it immediately converts to whatever your currency is, because
Yes.
you're not
That's the key.
Where you stay. Right?
That's the difference between BRICS, right? Because BRICS is going to basically, instead of converting everyone to one currency, you will get paid in your currency. So that way, all countries' currencies will never be diminished by the bigger currency, right? It's just a way to transfer money. So XRP is just a bridge currency. That's all it is, right? And then you'll get paid out. If you're in China, you get a yen. If you're in Russian, you get, your stuff. And if you're in Mexico, you get your pesos and so forth, right? But it'll never diminish the
Fraction of a penny.
Yeah, fraction of the penny. You'll basically never diminish the country's money. That's the difference in what BRICS does. It takes everyone's currency and makes it the same amount of money. So that way, as it comes out, you get paid in your denomination. So the country's money never fails, right? So if you're in the country and, you don't have to worry about your money being diminished because the US dollar went up, 13 points. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt your dollar. That's the difference, is because when XRP goes up, you're still getting paid higher in your dollar. It doesn't take away from you. And that's the key to the level playing field, is that you are not being told that a different denomination is bigger than yours. That's why BRICS is...
And it has to be stable at some point, or else institutional large amounts of money. If I send you $10 million, it cannot fluctuate 1%, because that's a chunk of money, and it cannot go up and down. Which is why a lot of the maxis try to call it a stable when it's not a stable. It is yet to fulfill its utilitarian why it was built, and that's why I feel like, since the lawsuit half ended, it didn't even full end yet. You know what I mean? It just got said it's not a security for Ripple, or for retail. But when it actually gets institutional adoption, we're not meant to trade XRP to each other. XLM, and they even said it, Jed McCaleb and Brad Garlinghouse, XRP is for bank to bank. XLM is to buy coffee with.
Yes.
I feel like just having XRP is if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but if I'm right, I'm gonna be fucking right.
Right. And you got to realize, XRP is still no matter what happens, right? So think of it like this, right? You have to be basic. Let's say that XRP takes the escrow, and they own 50% of it, right? Now I tell people there's a lot of things that could happen here, right? Like the first thing is that, let's say everything goes calm and slow and and XRP comes out and they're like, all right, okay, we're going to use, the escrow, and they sell that part of the XRP coin and they use it on the back end, right? Because banks have a front end and a back end. And so let's say they come along and they use the back end of the banks, which is how they transfer their millions of dollars back and forth on wires and all that other shit. And they take the escrow coins and move it from escrow. What happens there is that they didn't dump on you, because when they take the escrow amount and use it for the banks on the back side, it didn't affect the front side because it's not actually on the market. You see what I'm saying? So they're not dumping on the people that supported them for what they're doing, right? And then they use the escrow for the banks to transfer their money back and forth, and the front end, which is the regular market money that's on the exchanges, those are the regular XRP holders that are holding the coins. They just have the front end. Now, what will eventually happen, no matter what you do to it, is that your XRP investment is actually worth 100% more than what you have it right now, because once they make the deals with all the banks or the reserves or the Federal Reserve will take the other half of the escrow from XRP. And what will happen is
Which is why it's that part is not a security, and that retail only buying it from an exchange who Ripple sold to the exchange, and then we bought from the exchange. That's the reason why it's not a security.
Exactly.
But what you're saying on the institutional side, they can't just sell their oranges and have Howey test apply, because that's what is the very reason why it's not a security. And that, I think that's like what you were just about to say is that they can't just have it from a secondary market, from institutionally. It's like, if you're going to opt into this payment rail, then this is the vehicle.
Yes.
Buying into it, not buying it as a contract, hoping it goes up, because that's not what it was designed for. Yeah.
Right. So the biggest thing is that they're trying to, go after them and say, okay, well, banks are buying XRP because they're going to be worth value. And that's not going to hold up in court, because the truth of the matter is that the escrow account. So here's the thing, right? So this is the funniest thing. So the escrow right now is only worth money because the escrow can be released to the public, right? Which means that
What they would buy it for.
Yeah. So right now, if the escrow gets released to the public, right, and it circulates like it does at the end or the beginning of every month, and it has the opportunity to sell or buy, right? It does that little, 15 billion token, whatever, which is going to end this November or December anyways. But what happens is it gets released out to the public, and it goes out there, and it goes out and comes back in, and, that's the movement that it has. Well, the thing is that, when it gets released out there and people can buy it and it can come back, that being released to the exchanges doesn't change anything, because they're not going to use that XRP for the banks. What's going to happen is, when they decide to cut the escrow out and move it to the back end of the bank ledger, right, to use the token as the utility, the banks aren't buying XRP because it's going to be worth $1 million one day. They're buying XRP because it's the utility coin they need on the ledger, and they're not even buying it. Ripple's giving it to them. So what it basically is that it's like it'd be like you give me, like, I want to use a car that you want to give me, right? And then you're like, yeah, but I'll give you the gas for free, right? Now, the gas is what I need to run the car. So the car is great, but without the gas, it doesn't work. But that's what the XRP escrow is that the ledger is great, but you need the XRP token to make it run. And what'll happen?
On-demand liquidity.
Yeah, on-demand liquidity. And the thing is that when they take half that escrow, that token has no value. Okay. It doesn't have a value. So it doesn't matter if the token's worth 50 cents on the market out here or $1. When they sell it to the banks or give it to the banks, that token doesn't have a value, because the token is valueless. What that means is, let's say they take 50% of the XRP ledger, right, or the escrow, and they remove it from the fucking market, right? And they put it on the back end of the banks. Well, the banks aren't going to sell any of that XRP token on the open market, because they're using it on the back ledger to send the fucking money, right? It's not an investment. So it means it's not a security, right? Now, what that means for you is all the XRP that you own just doubled in price, because now the 50% of the supply has been burned, essentially. Get it? So now your XRP is automatically doubled, because the circulating supply has been cut in half.
Essentially like a Bitcoin halving.
Exactly. Now, the banks don't have to worry about being a securities, because the banks can take the XRP token and put it on a private ledger. And let's say Chase is sending their wires back and forth, right? Chase can take an XRP token and say that token's worth $1,000, right? So when they start transferring, if they're doing $1 million transfer, they send 100 of the token or 1,000 of the tokens, and that's $1 million. And then Bank of America could take 1,000 tokens and say that each token is worth $10,000. You see what I'm saying? Because they're just putting partials of the tokens out there, right? So they can put any value they want on their private ledger and send the coin. It doesn't matter what they put, because they're the ones setting the price.
At that point.
Huh?
It's just a vehicle at that point.
Yeah, it's just a vehicle. That's it.
The price can be
Yeah, it's whatever they
decided
want.
Bank, which is why they didn't have to take out actual licenses in every jurisdiction, in every bank, in every country. You have your jurisdiction, your license in your country. We just sent it in the middle,
Yes.
and then it converts to your license. So it's
Yeah.
again, like you said, you can the price can be decided upon.
Yeah, they can turn around and say each.
People speculate that's going to be the
Oh yeah. No, but what people don't understand is there's XRP right now on the market that has been moved and transferred that has been worth $50,000 a token. But that has nothing to do with the front end. That's the back end of the bank. Like each XRP token will be like 50 grand.
Some people say that's illustrated in the actual logo, how the X doesn't touch in the middle.
Mhm.
The top is the private and the bottom is retail.
Exactly.
It doesn't actually touch with each other.
Yeah. No, it's the front and the back end of a bank. Right? So the good thing, the good news is this, is that whatever you have invested in XRP, when it finally becomes whatever it's going to become, it's going to be double, because 50% of the supply is going to disappear because it's going to become out of the bank's transportation. Now there's 50% less XRP on the market, right? That's where you're going to get your double of your money. Now, once that happens, the supply goes down. Now XRP is more valuable because there's less XRP. So that's where people are going to start putting money into it, going, oh shit, there's less XRP, which what? Supply and demand. So now you're going to get another movement into XRP where that'll drive the price from the $1 to $10, right? And then XRP is going to come out with all the designs that it has. Like it's going to burning mechanism. So every time there's a transfer, it burns X amount of XRP, or every time there's an NFT. Like why would you build projects on why would you build any projects on Ethereum in the first place when everything in gas fees are 100% loss? Only an idiot would build something on Ethereum. Okay. So
I feel like that's why they got all the movement that they did, is because the lawsuit was on purpose so that Ethereum could take the reins with smart contracts for that run.
Yeah.
And make that money that they did.
Oh yeah.
XRP was just a pause while they took advantage of an emerging market.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you realize what they were making, literally $780 million a week.
So stupid. Was it in its consensus?
Yes.
I love when people try to say Ethereum is decentralized.
No, it's owned by Consensus. Consensus is the main creator of Consensus, built MetaMask. MetaMask is owned by JP Morgan. Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, if you know about crypto, you know about crypto. If you don't, what's the difference? Like I made the video. I said, you guys, we lost. You guys didn't listen. I told you to boycott Ethereum. You kept buying the coin. What kind of idiot buys a coin on Ethereum and pays 100% in gas fees? Like that's just, I mean, you deserve to lose your money. Like you're an idiot. Nothing about Ethereum is actually good. Nothing.
Yeah, it's trash.
It's trash.
I won't even trade on the degen coins just because.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're on. Yeah. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you that Ethereum has a group of people that come up with freaking meme coins. They make all the money in gas fees.
Even if you want to get out,
Yeah, no, it's stupid. It's the dumbest thing you can do. Meanwhile, we're about to get into this Bitcoin short finally. 15-minute finally crossed over, about to cross. Here we go, boys.
I love the chat. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, no, it's good chat. I mean, I'll get back into we'll get more into crypto as we move forward. I just wanted to finish the trading, and I think right now we have a very solid opportunity with the trading. I think everything works. So now I'm going to rebuild the crypto network, which will be all about crypto and actually like re-challenge all these influencers, CoinDesk with their stupid reviews. Like their CoinDesk is over there talking like, oh yeah, BitBoy made all these coins and he called all these coins and they went to zero. So did you. So did you.
Yeah. CoinDesk might as well be CNN, and everyone thinking that what they report on is fact.
Oh no, I'm going after them. I'm going to eat them up. I'm going to eat them up, bro. Wait, bro. Like wait, this next year, bro. I'm going to wreak havoc. Like I'm going to wreak havoc, dude. Like
I would like you to definitely retouch on farming and how to accumulate on like the daily and the 4 hour.
oh yeah, yeah.
So for anybody that wants to start steadily growing a bag, we touched on that like many months ago, and I showed a couple of people, some friends of mine that just they can barely do anything. They just want me to tell them when to trade and when to buy and when to sell.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have time for that, but like there's a method, like how to farm
Yeah.
and accumulate coins if that's all you want to do, and eventually
Oh, yeah,
sell
yeah.
at some point, right?
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Future, but have that on your checklist of something to touch before we get to the bull.
No, yeah. We'll get into. I mean, like I'm happy right now with all the. We gotta tighten up the guys on the calls and the how to enter trades, and then once we get this next month everybody trading properly, I'm gonna release a big ass crypto news network, and we're just gonna go after CoinDesk and all these guys, and then I'm gonna go back to having fun, right, which is challenging all these idiots who talk about crypto for no reason. Like that's where I have fun, man. That's where I love that shit. Like I love talking to people that just say the dumbest shit. Like that's what I want to talk about. Like what are you talking about? Like when Mason was talking about, I'm gonna invest in Bencoin because if anyone has the ability, bro, stop.
That poor guy, and then he started dating a chick who's actually got like actual like smart things to say.
Yeah. Megan.
Funny thing. I follow him for comedic reasons, not for actual.
I mean, he's a good he's a good kid. He's trying to do something. I'm proud of him, man. Like I know, like I said, I've been on here 3.5 years. I knew him when he first started. Like so, he's always trying to do something good. He just doesn't. Dude, when he started promoting penguins, bro, I just lost it. Pudgy penguins, I was done. Pudgy penguins, I was done, bro. Like, come on, bro. Pudgy penguins, man. Of all the things, dude, like, come on, man. It's worthless. Stop. Let's talk about something that, I mean, guys, if you're going to educate people, man, first of all, talk about the only way to invest. Find out when you should invest. Like, first of all, none of these coins have any value. None of them are worth anything. It's all an ideal. Like, stop hodling. Like Wendy's always hodl. Shut up. It's like I'm so tired of the bullshit. But I'm gonna go back. So we'll do that on all bunch of different new TikToks, right? Because that way they can ban them all they want, but we'll have hundreds of them. We'll have more fun. That's when I have fun. I love that shit. So I'm good. Like I said, the trading in the community is becoming airtight. They can. Yeah, a lot of people are emerging, finishing the system, and now we're going to have a bunch of people that are doing well, and now we just got to teach people how to take call outs and alerts, and they need to talk about when they're entering, and now we need people to start calling out the entries. Now that we got trades, now we need entries.
That way, no matter what time of day you get on, obviously we got people from all around the world.
Yeah.
In the Discord, but like you pop on at any hour of the day, and people are trading and active and holding each other accountable by checking and double checking, being like, oh, you know what, the volume on that one, I would wait a little bit, but that's just me. What do you think? And like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like removing that barrier of feeling like you can't say anything. Like, you know what I mean? There's no.
It's their job. It's their part. Part of their training is to call out their entry. Like, guys, what are you waiting for? We got, this is the entry. Here's your volume, right? Call that out. I'm going to enter when the 15-minute breaks down. I'm about to enter when the 15-minute rejects the moon. I'm about to enter when the 15-minute, curls down below the 90, right? That's what you should be saying, right? There shouldn't be like, oh, this is happening. And then, people are jumping in trades without posting when they're, why they're jumping in a trade. So now we just got to hold all these people accountable to actually understanding the entry. Like, now everyone understands how to find the trade. Now they got to master an entry. So once you master an entry, then, then you're going to have a lot of information, because guys are going to be calling out entries after entry after entry. And then you hop on wherever the hell you are in the world, you look at the chat and you're like 17 fucking things about, hey, I'm about to, when Bitcoin breaks down on the 2 hour with the 15-minute moon, I'm entering. And then you go look and be like, oh shit, that's about to happen. And then you know what I mean? Then you start looking at the trade and now you're like, yeah, all right, I'm going to enter when this happens, right? So then all of a sudden we got an entire chat breaking down a trade over the last 4 hours or 8 hours all the way through. Like, 15-minute just bottom. The next entry I'm going to get is when the 15-minute bounces from the top and heads back south. And then guys are going to be like, I'm entering when the 15-minute goes south. And the next thing you know, guys are like, yo, I'm about to enter the trade on the Bitcoin 15 minutes south. And then everyone goes and looks and is like, all right, that's a good ass trade. And boom, next thing you know, the chat is fucking a story of trades, like how it happened, why we entered, and then closing out with the profits. Like, that fucking easy. And that's where we're at, Boogie. That's where we're at, my friend. Yeah, we're going to do a video just entering CDO. That's the next thing, right? So now that we got trading down, now we just got to get the entries down, guys. And then we'll be done. Yo, baby. You ready? Huh? You ready? I'm going to give you an ultimatum. Better hurry up. Put on the movie. Put on the show, baby. Playing games. It's not ready? What time?
All right, boys.
Shit.
Fish on a flip.
All right, brother. Good work, man. Good, everything good, Bug? You great?
Yeah, man.
All right, brother. Appreciate you, bro. Later, guys.
All right, boy.
All right, guys. We're waiting for this Bitcoin. We need a 3-minute red moon. That's really what we're waiting for here. So 3-minute red moon, 3-minute red trends our entry. That is what we're looking for. So we're a 3-minute trend away. We got a 3-minute moon. Now we just need a trend, dude. We need a 3-minute trend. And that's what we're waiting for. So I'm going to hop off here, guys, but this is where Bitcoin makes its move down. This is the beginning of a B trade. It's not an A trade, guys. So profits are 50%. Keep it simple. You make 50%, move on. But eventually, we'll get to an A trade. The A trade is when the volume gets below here, and it hasn't broke down yet, so volume's still a little bit high. Oh, and we're already on a 1 hour here. So we might wait on the 1 hour. All right, guys, if you're in the academy, let the 1 hour. So this next push down, this B trade, it's going to pull down here, a little bit here. But the next trade that I want to get into, and I'll come back and make a video on, the next trade that I really want to get into is going to be the 1 hour RSI. So when the 1 hour RSI bounces back up and then comes back down, that's going to be the B trade that I'm really looking for. That one is going to rip. That's going to be the big one, guys. So remember that. Let the 1 hour. I'm going to post that in the Discord here. All right. That's the trade that I want, right? So I want those bigger trades, right? 2 a.m. Oh my God, babe. Why got us waiting so long? Nobody wants to wait. All right, boys. All right, Discord. Remember the 1 hour bounce. If you're on TikTok, guys, I know you don't have my indicators. If you're not in there, make sure you go to vccryptonation@gmail. Send me a Gmail. VC Crypto Nation, the name of the channel. Gmail. Send it to Gmail, right? Remember, the next trade is happening right now on the 15-minute. This is going to be a 30% gainer. Once you get that 30% on Bitcoin here, then I'm going to wait for the 1 hour to bounce up. And then when the 1 hour starts to come back down, that is the trade I want. That will be a 50 to 100% trade. All right, guys. Good luck. God bless. Enjoy your night, man. If you're interested in joining the Discord, make sure you send a vccryptonation@gmail, right? vccryptonation@gmail, guys. Have a good night. All right, boys. Stay focused. Jazz Money, what up, man? How you doing, Yanni? You still there?
I am here, yes, sir.
All right, so notice how we're tracking this 15-minute trade, right? So while this is starting to, evolve, this is where volume is very important, because what volume is doing, it's holding up this trade, right? So even though we're I'm kind of like looking at a short here, it's the beginning of the short, right? It hasn't really fallen off the 15-minute, which is what we were waiting for, because by the time the 15-minute got where it's crossing over, the volume is still holding the trade up, right? Now, while that's happening, we have the 1 hour, which is starting to close in on the bottom. You see that?
Yep.
So what that means is, instead of taking, we should get a trade here, which is the first B trade, which is when the 15-minute breaks down. And we should get a 15-minute and a 30-minute breakdown. But look at your 30-minute. Notice how your 30 minutes pushing up. It's fighting the 15-minute. So the next 30-minute trade, if it pops off, would be when the 30-minute starts to come down. Okay? So as soon as the 30-minute volume turns south, which is what we can watch, if you look at your 15-minute QQE volume, you can see where on the 15-minute sideways, right? Which ultimately comes back to the simplicity of the 3-minute trend, right? So if we can get a 3-minute red trend here, then we can get this quick drop down. But the reality is this first B trade is not going to be a long drop down. It's going to be a 30 to 40, maybe 50% gainer. And then that 1 hour is going to bounce. So then when that 1 hour, 30-minute, and 15-minute all go back up and start to come back down, that's the trade that we really want, right? So here, this trade is getting a little bit out of control here. So 27,459. I'm going to get out of this trade here and wait for that better trade to happen. So that's why when you're waiting for a trade, sometimes the trade develops a little bit different, right? So
Right.
this trade is going to try to push through, and then what happened was the 1 hour came to the bottom. So the next trade here, right? I mean, basically we didn't get into our trade because we never got our 3-minute red moon, 3-minute red trend. So basically by the time we're waiting for that, we're realizing that volume has turned this into one more pump. So now, even though the 15-minute got where we wanted, the 30 minutes pushing up and the 1 hour is about to hit a bottom, right? So now we got to wait for the 1 hour to push up with the 30, with the 15 volume, and then we'll see the trade that we want. So when you're watching this, how long are you going to be watching this one?
Not much longer, man. I've been waiting for this one for quite a while myself.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes we get in there. So what you do here is like, if you're, you see all this kind of like volume changing. This is why for me it's very simple, right? I come in, it's like, to me it's like these B trades are great, but they take 6-7 hours of trading, right? Like they're awesome, right? But at the end of the day, it's like me personally, the moment the 1 hour volume gets to that 5 line, that's where I want to be, because then trades move faster because the gravity is pulling harder.
So when I'm cruising throughout the day, that would be the number one thing that I
Yes.
can look at
1 hour volume below, heading towards the 5.
okay.
With the 1 hour coming down from the top.
Gotcha.
That's what you're
Gotcha.
looking for.
That's gonna speed it up because that's where I've been trying to get all these factors lined up and it's just not working out. Just like tonight, you wait.
Yeah.
You eyeballing it, and then on 5 other coins, all that did take place.
Yeah, so this is what you want to do, right? To be faster, just kind of like look at it, right? And the biggest thing here is like, first of all, like I look at the 4 hour, right? Like take a look at your 4 hour. 4 hour just crossed, right? Most of the time when the 4 hour crosses, what's going to happen is you're going to see a bounce on the 1 hour. So as you're cruising along, if you're in between that where the 4 hour is about to cross and you take a look at the 1 hour and you notice it's towards the bottom and the volume's high, you can just put an alert and say, all right, I'll see you in 2 hours. Right? And just kind of move on. And all you want to do is put in a RSI alert on the 1 hour to cross over. So that way you get alerted when the 1 hour crosses over the first time. You're like, all right, there's the 1 hour headed up. And then eventually when it crosses over again to head down, that's your entry.
Gotcha.
So that's what you would put here is a right click on the RSI. And then when you right click on the green or whatever, it's going to say add an alert. And you're going to add an alert. It's going to say crossing. You're going to put once per bar. And you're just going to put on there basically stochastic. And you can kind of like delete most of it. And all I do is I put 1 hour in the comment section, RSI, and then Bitcoin, BTC. And that's it. Now when that crosses over, I will get an alert on it. Like you can send it to your, so these automatically go to your email. So if you have your email set up, you can have a folder set up and you can see that pop up on your phone. Boop, boop. There's a Gmail. Someone sent you an email. That's TradingView telling you that the 1 hour just crossed. You can set it up where it sends you a text message, right? And then boom, you get that. But either way, you're alerted and you're like, oh, okay, the 1 hour is headed up. And then when it hits again, you're like, okay, there we go. So then you want to put it basically, when you set the alert, put it as not once per bar, but put it as only once, right? So that way, when you get the email, you can look at it. It's not like hitting you every, bar, but it lets you know right away. So that'll keep you kind of set up there. If you don't want to miss it, put it once per bar, and then that'll double remind you.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so once you start seeing how these things play out, B trades, you'll start understanding that there's hours here, right? So the biggest thing for me is I can scroll through these things, and here's what I want to see. Volume getting below the 5 line on the 1 hour. Those are the trades that I want to make.
That could be a crucial piece of information that was just causing me to freeze up. It's just like information overload. And then Shane had talked about it too in the Discord. I'm sitting here trying to learn all this stuff.